this works. Folks, please tell me that you can see me and hear me, because it has been a stressful 8 minutes of my life. Here we go. Jeez, that was a wild 8 minutes. I am so sorry that this took so long. Can see, can hear. Yes, hello, let's go. Hey, I can see you. Hi, you're here. Hello, Robin. Toot toot, young man. Guys, I'm so sorry about that. I had the worst last 8 minutes. Hopefully, I didn't just click out of it and ruin everything. We will see when people say, no, you disappeared. Great. All right, folks. This was wild. Yes, we did a stream yesterday just for our patrons. Everything went perfectly. And the only thing I changed was I changed a setting to make it a little clearer. And that apparently ruined everything. So I just had to kind of shut everything down. I don't know. I'll never know. I'll never understand these streams. Folks, welcome. Welcome, Titanic fans. Welcome, video gamers. Welcome, everybody. To our first stream in a long time, if you couldn't tell. I haven't done a stream in over a year. And we as a company have not done a stream in about 10 months. So it's been a long time since you've seen anything live from us. But if you've been on our YouTube the last 30 days, boy, oh boy, have you been getting the content from us. Lots of really cool things that we've been showing off and lots of cool things to show off today. My name is James Penca. That's right. I made this today. My name is James Penca. I am the creative director of Titanic Project 401, Titanic Honor and Glory as well, Vintage Digital Revival, our entire VDR Titanic empire, as I called it yesterday, and I think we always need to call it for the rest of time. It's such a pleasure to have you all here. It's a pleasure to be here myself. Thank you for waiting. If you are brand new to this adventure, this Titanic adventure, if you are just joining us for the first time because you saw some of our videos this month, please let me know in the chat so I can just see how many people are here out of the new videos that we've been releasing. We got a lot of new subscribers and followers and patrons through the trailer that we just released last month, which is very cool. Some people on YouTube have been looking at our trailer and stuff, which is fun. So yes, great. We have some new people. We have some people from the Guarantee Group, of course. Been here since 2016. Thank you, the Cookie. That's a long time. It's about as long as I've been here. Amazing. I'm glad to see some new people. Welcome to everybody. We have a lot to get to today. I don't know how long this stream will be. It will at least be 2 hours. It might go longer. Because I want to talk about the projects, where we are, what we're doing, but I also want to show you the demo, and that it's a big demo. It's 50% of Titanic, so we have a lot to show. I don't want to show you absolutely everything. We got to leave some things for discovery purposes, but there's still a lot, even with that. So we might be here for a couple hours. So stick around or check back tomorrow, because I know for people in Europe it's late. Check back tomorrow. This will all be on YouTube. I'm probably going to cut it up and put it on as smaller YouTube clips as well, if you'd rather do it that way. Folks, this is a big day for us at VDR. It is March 3rd. It is the day that we are releasing Demo 401 Update 2.0. This has been a long time coming. It's been a year since our 1.4, I suppose. Or about that long. It's been a long time. But this is the first time that we will ever be releasing 50% of Titanic. And if you know who we are, you know as a company, our dream is to recreate 100% of the Titanic in some fashion. And to say that we are at 50% with this project, it's a big day for us, and we're very, very proud. And to release it for free is awesome as well. Like we're so glad that we are able to just give you this. It's a really cool thing. I've been playing it all week naturally, and my 8-year-old self would cry at this. So I got, okay, alternate audio says only 50%. I'm sure they're joking. But for the record, it's only 50% of Titanic, but it's virtually every public space. The majority of the 50 that is not there are cabins and machinery spaces, stuff like that. But I think you could reshoot the entirety of the 1997 movie and not have any missing places. I think it's pretty much all there. Somebody will have to do that and see if it's possible. So let's get into it. I have a lot to cover. We have a special guest that we're going to talk to. For our patrons who were here yesterday, we had a patron-only stream, as I mentioned. I'm going to repeat some information for them. Short plug, you can join our Patreon and be a part of patron-only streams and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Our officer tier patrons, our highest tier, they've already been playing this demo for a little bit because they've been helping us test it in some ways. So very cool. Spammels is here. That's amazing. Welcome, Spammels. Speaking of Spammels, there are a handful of YouTubers that got the demo early, and they will be releasing content. And I think they were actually able to post it at 4:01. So, in fact, they probably were showing the demo before I even started this stream. So there's other demo 4:01 content out there to get to. Yes, we talked about that. So let's get into it. For some of you, you're new. For some of you, you are not new. You've been here for years, like I have. A lot of us have been here for a long time. Let me just talk about where our company is, where our projects are, why there are 2 projects now. If you haven't joined us in a while, or you haven't been following on our Patreon, which, by the way, you don't have to join our Patreon to see all the updates. You can just go over there and look at the updates and follow them. The patrons just get them a little earlier. So if you haven't been following, we are still the premier Titanic recreation video game situation, Vintage Digital Revival. We have our flagship project, Titanic Honor and Glory, which is probably why you are here, especially if you've been here a while. Our visuals have been in documentaries, they've been in museums, they have been all over the place because they are really wonderful. The core of those visuals are from names like Matt, Kyle, Gio, Nico. You guys know some of these names. They're geniuses with Titanic. They're amazing at what they do. Artists of the highest degree, in my humble opinion. They've been making these visuals that became known as Titanic Honor and Glory, which is an ongoing project. It's been going for almost a decade. It began as a different project about a decade ago. But we've had our ups and downs, as you know. We had fundraisers years and years ago that many of you likely donated to, and we're always so grateful to those donations that really got the project off the ground. But that was like 8 years ago now, and a lot has happened. The team has changed. People have left. People have joined. People have left and then joined again. In the case of Derek Verveer, our lead, engine lead and technical art director, Derek, he left for a bit, came back. I've been with the project for 8 years or something like that, but as creative director for about 2 years. So a lot has happened. And so where are our projects now, and why are there 2? So let's talk about Titanic Honor and Glory first. I have some visuals for you that I want to jump into right away. I've got like 25. Oh, we got some super chats, guys. I forgot about super chats. Thank you. We got from Jay Homestead, $20. Greetings from the folks at the Molly Brown Museum. Hey, Molly Brown Museum, House Museum. We love Molly Brown, and we love that museum. That's great. Will the complete THG game be on Steam? $5 super chat. Yes, it will eventually. And Project 401, which is what we're really here to talk about, will definitely be on Steam because that's coming much sooner. If so, please get get bought on my Steam account link right now. Yeah, absolutely. And $10 from Jill. Your geniuses make us all so happy. Thank you. Hi, Dan, aka Spammels. That's great. And I'm sorry I missed a couple. I know Jake sent one. Jake, thank you. And yes, I will show you personally the Master at Arms cabin. I know you want that the most. Great. Keep those coming. I'll try to keep up on them. When I'm playing the demo, I won't be able to see these, so I will not be able to keep up on that. So anyway, I want to show you these visuals from Titanic Honor and Glory, where that project even is right now. Because if you haven't noticed, Demo 401 has migrated into its own thing. It is now a demo for something that we call Titanic Project 401. It's going to be incredible, but Titanic Honor and Glory is still under development. Got another super chat. Hopefully we don't get too many of these guys. We got some Titanic to get to. Spectre said for $10. Thank you so much. Says, I remember a long time ago it was mentioned that THG would be coming to consoles. Is this still the case? Likely no. We don't. As a small indie company, of course, PC is all we're focused on right now. We'd love to get it to consoles one day. We don't even know where to begin with that at the moment. If we can do that, oh boy, would we ever want to. $50. Geez, thanks so much from CXXD Reacts. I've been following this game since 2016. Thank you. I love it so much. This is a childhood dream come true for me. Me as well. $10 from WIT Simulations. Been following the project for years. Amazing job to the team. Thank you. Robert, thank you. Estonia Epic Gamer. Finally happening. Been here since 2016. Thanks, Estonia Epic Gamer. Are you from Estonia? I visited Estonia this year, and it was my favorite country ever. I loved it. Loved my time in Estonia. In Tallinn is where I was. Folks, I'm going to try not to do that too much. We got a lot of super chats. So gracious, very generous folks in our community. So I want to show you these images of where THG is now. Basically, in a nutshell, the hull. Thank you, Blue Star Line. The hull of our ship back in Demo 3, you may recall, needed a massive update. It was not the outside of our Titanic. It was its own model, right? You had to load into the interiors because if you were in the outside of Titanic and you peeked your head in a window, there'd be nothing in there, and vice versa. So we needed an updated hull. Another issue that plagued the development of THG up to this point, and still plagues us in Project 401, of course, is that things don't always line up. You know, we would model this room, we would model this room, and we'd connect them by the hallways, all to the size that we thought they should be. But then when these two rooms were connected, the hallways don't line up because things are just slightly out of whack. In fact, this is why in Project 401, or Demo 401, which you will all play at 6 p.m. today, or you'll download it at 6 p.m. today, you cannot go down the officers' stairs from the officers' promenade because it would go straight through a cabin because the cabins underneath are too wide. That's the sort of thing that we're dealing with here. So we needed a hull that was the correct size, that had shear. You all know, most of you want shear very badly. Shear is the slight bow to the ship as a whole. And it really does give things like Scotland Road and the promenades a certain bend that's just beautiful. We want that. We want all those things. And we want you to be able to have the outside and the inside in the same, you can walk on, all that stuff. So Kyle started a new hull, and he did it in the way that only Kyle would. He is building his hull for Titanic Honor and Glory the way that Harland and Wolff once did. You really can't get more historically accurate than that. He is putting down every keel bar, the plates coming from it, the floors on top of it, the plates around the side, the frames going up, every angle bar, everything he is doing according to the original iron plans. And what this will do is it will not only give us a hull that looks correct and is historically accurate visually, but it will also give us a framework for the interiors. You can't mess up the interiors when you literally have the frames lined out. For those of you who don't know, Titanic was built in a very, very precise manner, and if you follow that precise manner, it is bound to make things much more seamless, literally. But another cool thing about it is, when you think about Titanic, how much of it is bare steel, how much of third class, how much of the cargo holds, how much of it is, you can literally see the frames of the ship in the interiors. So much of that will be already finished. And then think about first class. You have the molding, the joinery, the wood covering up all the steel. You can still see where the frames are. You can still see the beams on the ceiling and the pillars. You can still see all that stuff. Under that wood is the steel that Kyle's working on right now. So let me jump in to these visuals and just show them to you. I have 2 little slideshows. There's about 25 images, I think, around that. So let's hop in. Of course, hold on, folks. Oh my gosh. Something happened when I restarted. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna, how can I do this in the best way possible? I think I have to click on this. All right, you're just gonna see some stuff. You're gonna see a black screen, and I'm gonna add these images back in. My apologies for all of this. They're literally all still sitting here. I don't know why that happened. My apologies. Where did they go? Downloads, no. Desktop. Oh boy. Folks, I cannot this is just a wonderful thing to happen. Okay, this is good. I'm gonna do something different. We are going to go off script for a second. Folks, I am going to, there's literally nothing else I can do here. Except, no. Pardon me, folks. Desktop THG. That's where it should be. These images that I took a million pictures of have just disappeared. I am devastated. Okay, this is fine. Oh boy. Yes, Derek says this is a leaked night mode. All right, we're going to have to just move on, I suppose. Folks, I greatly apologize. Something that I did completely, something that happened when I logged on, or when I changed everything because the stream was not working, made all the images disappear, which means these also disappeared. That's a bummer. Okay, moving forward. I will try and figure this out in a minute when I bring out our next guest, or our only guest for the day. In fact, I may just jump to that. I think we'll just bring our guest on. We'll have a little conversation about Project 401. But before we do, I'll just tell you a little bit about Project 401 and where that came from. THG, as you know, has, as I just told you and was hoping to show you, is being meticulously recreated by Kyle, and the progress is spectacular. If you'd like to see it, just go over to our Patreon, where all the images I was going to show you are currently sitting. I was just going to show you in a nice slideshow, but that's okay. But the models that you may have always known as, let me get the chat back up here. But the models that you've always known as THG, what about those? Now, those will be very helpful in the future of Titanic: Honor and Glory. A great reference, a great jumping off point. But as I mentioned, things don't line up. As we've mentioned in the past, the lighting is a pain. We can't sync it. The models are literally unsyncable. But the result is that a lot of these models were going to be unused. And so we thought, why don't we give them to the fans for free, basically? So that became Demo 401, which grew and grew and grew. In fact, I believe between 1.4 and 2.0, that is releasing today, there are 75 new spaces, I believe is what Kyle said yesterday. So there's so much to see. So we thought, let's give it its own identity. Project 401 is what we decided to call it. For those of you who don't know, I know somebody tried to point it out in the chat. The number 401 is Titanic's hull number, her yard number. Olympics was 400, Titanic 401, Britannic 433. Every ship had a number, and this was going to be our fourth demo, so I figured Demo 401 would be appropriate, and now it's Titanic Project 401, which I think is a lovely title. So Project 401 has grown into its own thing, and now we have two wonderful Titanic projects that we're really, really excited to bring you. We have Project 401, which we're going to see the final demo of today, and we have THG, which I really wish the files just didn't disappear on me. It's an absolute bummer. But let's see if I click on this instead. It'd be great if this would just work. But no, it's not going to. Okay. The files have completely disappeared. I suppose I may have cleaned up a little bit, but I don't think I did that much. It's not like I threw anything away. It would still be in my... oh, well. All right, folks. So let's do this. Before we hop into Project 401, I want to bring out, or Demo 401, I would like to bring out our special guest for the evening. I got to give him a little phone call. How about this? Kyle, I know you're watching. I know you're watching. Please compile like 10 images that just show what you've been doing, like the nice images, and send them to me on Discord, and I will just share my screen and show the images you send me, which would at least give people an idea of how it looks. And, oh well, but now I'm going to give Derek a quick call so he can tell you a little bit. Derek is our, he's a whole lot of stuff. Derek, hello.
Hello, hello. Greetings and salutations.
How are you?
I'm good. Can everybody hear me?
I hope so. We're going to see in the chat in a moment. At least this worked out. This little visual worked out. Great. It sounds like people can hear you. So Derek is our technical and art director, as well as our lead engine lead. I couldn't fit that all on your little card. So Derek, why don't you just tell people quickly what you do with the project?
Kind of a lot, I guess. My main role is, I would say, engine lead or technical lead, and at least in Project 401, my job so far has been to do all the engine stuff. So in Demo 401, I did all the engine work for the earliest versions, and this past year I've been working on 2.0 getting it all up to snuff. And yeah, here today's the day.
Yeah, and I know I asked you this yesterday on the patron stream, but how are you feeling now that we are an hour and a half away from people being able to download this wonderful project?
Um, Surprisingly, even more nervous than yesterday, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting. Just an hour and a half, and you'll all get the chance to explore the ship for yourselves. Looking
Absolutely.
forward to it.
And another question I asked you yesterday. Why don't you tell people briefly between 1.4 and 2.0? We decided sort of recently to completely. We were gonna. Everybody was waiting for update 1.5, and it just grew so much, and we completely changed it. It's now 2.0. Tell people what you did between the two, because to be honest, most of the work being done over the last year on this demo was you, Kyle, and Matt putting together some new spaces, and you specifically completely revamping how they look. What were you doing this past year to warrant us such fanfare to call it 2.0?
Yeah, so the first thing we did was migrated the project over to Unreal 5. That's given us a lot of extra wiggle room for performance mostly, but it's given us some visual improvements just doing that. The second thing I've done is basically the biggest problem with 1.4 is just optimization of all the models. There's the whole project was kind of a mess. There's a lot of duplicate materials and textures, and just the way things were put together were just was not quite ideal from a performance standpoint. So I went in and I fixed a lot of that. I drastically improved the optimization of the demo. Nanite helped a lot with that in Unreal 5, so that's a feature that we're using very extensively in 2.0. And then I went through space by space and completely redid the lighting. We doubled the resolution of the light maps, so that contributed to the much smoother and cleaner lighting that you see. But we also just um, I I created a new workflow for the way that we did the light maps. So in 1.4, essentially the entire ship was light baked at once, and I think in total it was about to do day mode in 1.4 was about 2 days of light baking, like solid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I had to guess in 2.0, if I had to do it all at once, it'd be probably a solid month of light building. And so that's just extra samples, extra quality that we've put into the light builds. And then just going through and polishing like every space that we went through, did it very methodically. I started by fixing all the light maps, and then once we did a light bake, it was just a matter of tweaking things. And after the lighting was done, there was a collision pass where I went through, did all the collisions, and then uh, either individual spaces or small regions got they went to our QA team, and for that we had two teams. We had a beta tester team, which is actually anybody who's an officer level patron can be part of the beta testing team, and we're probably going to continue that into the future as well. So if you're a officer, then we have go check us out on our officer Discord, and but we also had an internal QA team that did some of the newer spaces, and so about we'd spend about a week just going through the areas, finding all the issues with it, visual issues, collision issues, um, just things that seemed wrong, and then after that, go back and do another pass and fix it. So it's just 1.4, and well, actually, really 1.0 to 1.4. Uh, the goal at the time was to take what we had, what was finished, and just polish it up a bit and then throw it out the door. And for 1.5 and ultimately 2.0, the kind of the whole um, motivation change. We decided to make it's a proper experience, and it was just needed time and effort to get it to where it is now. So that's why it took a year.
Yes, indeed. Um, Very cool. So one of the things I asked yesterday was, what was your favorite space on the ship to do, to redo, and what was your absolute least favorite thing that you had to work on?
Well, let's start with the least favorite, or at least the most difficult. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And that is undoubtedly the first class smoking room. The reason for that is the way that the stained glass behaves from a light baking point of view. It still doesn't quite behave the way that you would expect it to in
Right.
real life. And so it was a real challenge to get the light in there to be balanced, sort of to get the right tone out of each side of the ship, and to get the balance between the light coming from the center around the funnel, that to get the balance right, where you didn't have too much light coming in from there compared to the promenade windows, or vice versa. And so I spent a lot of time just trying to get that just perfect, and I'm pretty happy with the result. It may get a bit of a revisit for Project 401, but for now I'm pleased with it. As for my favorite area, um, it's I guess I'll just say this. In 1.4, I believe we have two of the cargo hatches accessible.
Right.
One in the forward third class area, the open space, and then there's one way near the back of the ship, which is you could sort of see down to about G deck or something, and then up to the top. In 1.4, both of these are closed. In 2.0, I've actually opened up, I believe, is it 4 or 5 hatches? So there's the forward hatch that opens into the forward crew area, the where the windlass gear room is,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the one behind that, which is the third class open area, and then we've got I guess it's yeah, no, actually there's two there's two in the third class open area, and then there are 2 hatches at the aft end of the ship. One wasn't accessible before because we added a new hallway at the back of the ship that you'll probably see. And so they're all open now, and they sort of let all this wonderful light through. And at the forward end of the ship, it actually, there's a couple levels that's open, and so you get some sunlight coming down about 3 decks, and it's just a beautiful sight. So
Hmm.
I really enjoyed seeing what it was before, and then sort of tweaking that and getting those hatches open and seeing the tremendous difference that made.
Brilliant. Um, Thank you for telling us that. Also, partly because it's fascinating to actually hear what you were doing all this time. I've had the joy of watching you do it, but not everybody is here for all of that. They don't get to see everything. But also, while you were talking, I found like 6 images just to throw at you all so we can see how Titanic Honor and Glory is looking, and then I will hop into the actual ship itself in the demo. Derek, will you be around for a while? Like, do
Yeah,
you will
I'll
you
I
come
can
back
stick around for.
for a Q&A in a little bit?
Sure. I mean, I could stick around if you like, or
Sure.
you can call me back later. I mean,
Sure.
it doesn't
How about,
matter.
because it'll
Um,
be a little bit. Let me call you back in a minute, and not a minute, but I'll jump into the demo, and then I will hop out, bring you in, and we'll walk around together as well. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll talk to everybody soon then.
All right. See you soon. Okay, we did this out of order, of course, but let me hop into this. You can still hear me. Just got to fix up where these images are. Actually, I'll just get rid of this. My apologies, folks. This was so much fun to go through this in the middle of the stream, but it will be worth it to just show you the quick little thing that I've thrown together last minute. Not even last minute, literally during the stream. Okay, here we go, folks. Wow. You can see this little image, I pray. This is cycling through a couple things. You are seeing Kyle's work on where THG sort of sits at the moment. It'll cycle through these 5 pictures while I just briefly talk about it. You are seeing what resembles quite a bit what Titanic actually looked like as she was being built. Those boilers and engines are placeholders. Don't get too excited about those. It's really the hull that we are looking at this moment. Kyle is literally taking the original steel plans. You can see it on this first image that should pop up right here. You can see underneath the model, you can see the actual iron plans from Harlan and Wolff that Kyle is working off of, and he's constructing each plate, laying them down one by one. Every plate is actually a different shape, a different size. It's hard to copy and paste in this sort of situation because Titanic was such a complicated puzzle. And so through a lot of work, a lot of meticulous and annoying work, I'm sure, we have this progress to show you. Those people and again, the boilers and the engine room and the engines back there, those are all just placeholders. Those people are not actual, they're not NPCs, folks. They're as real as the people you see in an architectural concept drawing. But that's that picture right there with the frames going up the side of the ship is the most recent images that we have gotten from Kyle on his end. These are much older. This is showing progress from a little ways back. That's the keel of the ship right there. The ship is upside down in this shot. And then that is, of course, the tank top, our first deck laid out there. You can see the stem, the stern frame in the back and the stem in the front. Those fake people are all standing on the tank top around where the fireman's passage would be in boiler room 6 on the very front there. And then, of course, the frames going up the side. So this is where Kyle is at the moment, really doing some incredible work, which brings me to a point, and this is partly why I told Derek I'd call him back, because I have a slight, not a rant, but a slight thing to go on, and then we're gonna hop into the demo. Okay, I promise. This is my last little bit about this, and then we will do the fun part. So if you are sitting at home, let me pull this up. Okay, so an important thing. If you are at home and you're a video gamer and you're looking at those images and you're seeing the progress on Titanic: Honor and Glory, and you're not really here for Titanic, you're here for games in general. You may be asking yourself, why are you guys doing this like this? Why are you going to such extreme lengths to recreate every plate? Just make the hull one big thing and save yourself so much time. Why are you recreating the bottom of the ship? No one's going to see that. Or is the player going to be able to swim underneath it? Of course not. But or maybe they could. I don't know. But but why are you doing this? Why are you going to such extremes? And the short answer is, we are not making a video game. I mean, we are. It's a video game product. You explore a virtual world. It will be on Steam. All those things. But to call THG a video game, I think does it a great disservice. It actually limits what we are actually doing. What we are actually doing is an intense study on Titanic. It's an incredible deconstruction of Titanic's actual construction. We are not developing this to the standards of the video game industry. We are developing this to the standards of Harlan and Wolff and Thomas Andrews, And I know that might make some people laugh, but it is extremely true. Titanic is everything to us. I don't think anybody on our team has gone a day of their lives without thinking about Titanic. We are all Titanic enthusiasts first, video game developers second. We are trying to do something for the Titanic community, which is admittedly a very niche community, which means that our potential for incredible profits is not not in our sights. We're not doing this for a big payday one day. We are not doing this for the general video game community. We are doing this for the Titanic community. We're doing this for those who built her, for those who sailed aboard her, and for all those in peril on the sea. Truly. Truly. So if you are excited by those images, if you begin to salivate when you see the potential in those images, to look at Titanic almost like you're looking at the human body in an anatomy program, to be able to take the plates off, see the frames behind, to stand in a first-class space and remove the wooden joinery to see what the lounge looks like with just steel, to see Titanic like you never have before. That is what we are trying to bring. If you are a gamer looking for something a little more immediate, that's what Project 401 is for. And speaking of, let's hop in. Let's take a look at Demo 401. Finally, I've made you wait long enough. Let's take a look. Let's just do it. I will show you that later. You've waited long enough. All right. Let me get this all set up. I hope that all made sense. I know our general audience, our Titanic audience, our patrons, they all understand the things that I just said. They're here for those things. We know it's frustrating, though, because 8 years ago, whatever, when we were making those, doing those fundraisers, you were pitched a classic video game, a story mode, 2,200 NPCs. You can try to survive, and you can try and fall in love with Bruce Ismay. I don't know what it was a full video game. And those fundraisers, we didn't quite make the funds that were trying to be raised. We turned to investors. That was, of course, impossible because the endeavor that we were taking on to recreate Titanic and then put a video game inside it was a lot. It still is a lot. I mean, we're still here and we're still trying. We're still pushing to make this happen. yes, the game, the video game that we were planning years and years ago, not quite in the books anymore. What we are making now, in our opinion, is so much more than a video game. So we hope you agree. So let's do it. Let's hop into Project 401, or Demo 401. It's so hard to get these all straight, everybody. Let's do it. Let me get this over here. No. What a day. What a day. Hopefully this all is still here. Boom. We're up. Whoa. Inception. Okay, where is this game? Recycle bin, THG Secrets. Here it is. Let's hop in. Now, please, I hope that you will be able to see what's going on here. We have a notice to start off, which we always do. Titanic was covered in notice boards. I recommend you take a look, read all about it. If the music is too loud, don't worry. The music is only during the menu. We have a whole bunch of boarding points now. I haven't even thought about where I want to start this. So, I did third class yesterday. It's so beautiful. Music by Anthony Casalena, everybody. Okay. Let us start. Let's do it. We're going to start with second class. While it loads in very quickly there, I need somebody on our team to just message me on Discord to say that everything is still working. Because once I'm in the game, I can't see anything outside of, because I don't have two monitors. That's my problem. I need two monitors like Jack does. Our bestie Jack. Okay, Kyle says he can see it. So, folks, we are in Demo 401 now. I've been looking forward to showing this to you for this entire month. As creative director, all the work I am doing will mostly be shown in Project 401. So this is one of the things I get to do. I get to show you everyone else's work. Some of my work is in here too. Don't worry. But we're starting with second class. I just chose it out of love for the second class passengers and the second class spaces. We are on the enclosed promenade on C deck. You will see when you hop into this for the first time, if you've played our previous updates, the smoothness of it. Everything has been revamped and optimized by Derek to a point that it is magnificent. Yes, you can look in these windows now because there are rooms behind these windows. I'm going to try not to run too much. I've been told before I go too quickly through the ship. It's just there's so much to do. There's so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? That's a reference for people my age. Okay, so we are in the second class stairs. This is the aft second class stairway. Mast coming through the decks here. So I will try to focus on new spaces, places that you haven't seen before. Everything is just so refined and just brand new. This room, for example, is just completely different. I believe even these tables in the middle weren't even there. This room had a big empty gap in the middle. Everything gets redone, from the fabric on the seats to the lighting, of course, which you know, but reflections off the wood. It's just there's so much that has changed that's worth taking a look at. So if you were in the elevator, second class elevator, if you have a chance to really take this in, there's so much new. One cool thing that we've added to this demo is this lovely map made by Kyle and Matt. I should say Matt made the map, the actual the Titanic map, and then Kyle made this version of it. I didn't mention that yesterday on the stream, and I saw Matt's comment after that he said it's his originally, which it totally is. So this map shows you exactly what there is to see in this demo. So you can take a look, and you can zoom in with the scroll wheel. You can scroll really far in, but you can see one of these classic maps. Of course, as you can see here, explorable areas are that dark color pink. Visible is light. We've got level load points and skip points. Skip points are just spots where you like really jump across the ship. You'll see a couple of those today. Level load points, if you weren't aware, I'll back out so you can see some of these. If you weren't aware, the level load points, there are levels in this version. In the previous version, it was all one big level, and we had to split it up for multiple reasons. One, it makes it easier to run on your computer, of course, but there's a certain level of reflection captures, is what they're called. It's how we get to show light bouncing off of things and things bouncing off a mirror, that sort of thing. You can only have a certain amount of them, and I believe the number was like 391, some random number. We have well over that at this point. So it would literally be impossible to put them all into one level. But my favorite thing, here's a new addition. If you click the center mouse wheel button, it pops you back to the normal view. If another cool thing about this, I'll head, let's go downstairs first. As you will see, if you have a slightly not as beefy computer as I might, for example, you might find that second class and third class, the officers' promenade, the baths, the boiler rooms, all these levels work incredibly well. The one level that gives you trouble is the first class level because it's just so big. But that's kind of a cool reason to have these levels is, you may find that because of these levels, you're able to see Titanic at a much higher detail than you would have if we made you do it all at once. This is the second class dining saloon, if you weren't aware, if we have some newbies, some new Titanic fans here. Second class dining saloon, absolutely stunning. Coming back through to the aft stairs. Lawrence Beasley's cabin is down that hall, if you weren't aware. So as you come down these hallways, there's lots of cabins. None of them are open here, but you will come across doors like this, and you'll get this little prompt that says to third class stairway. This is a level load point, so you can pop through this door to the third class level. What's really cool about second class and third class is that they are entirely in their own levels, so you never have to leave the second class level to see all of second class. You can almost pretend you're a second class passenger and not go into other classes. Same with third class. Third class also has a couple crew spaces in it because they literally did have a couple crew spaces in their areas. If you notice the font of to third class stairway is very reminiscent of a font that you would see around Titanic, which are those signs that say first class entrance, ladies, gentlemen, the things that sort of show where the restrooms are and that sort of thing, the baths are. We matched up the text for the level load points to be the literal text of the signs that tell you where to go about the actual Titanic. So we are heading down. This is the purser's office, second class purser's office. This, of course, goes to the third class, like Scotland Road area. We have more second class here. So here's our first example of a skip point. So this hallway here, we do not have a stretch of hallway that connects this stairway to that stairway. So instead of making you go up to the dining saloon and down, you can go up to this curtain and it will say head forward. And boom, you have headed forward. You are now on the forward side. The chief steward's cabin, I believe. And we are now in the second class gangway, which this, if you remember, was the original gangway for the last demo, you would load into this spot. Okay, let's continue on down. We can't. Velvet rope, of course. But I know we can go lower on the other side. So let's head back and head down the stairs here to the bottom of the second class accommodations. And you can take a look up at the top. Something I've always loved about these demos, this was in the last demo. If you check the time, it is currently 5:04 in my current time zone. It's one of my favorite little things that we've done. And we have some other fun things planned, at least I do, regarding that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for some Project 401 posters laying around. We'll take a look at one in a little bit. So let's head all the way back up. We're going to go to what is probably my favorite space on the ship. So we're at the top of the stairs, heading outside for the first time. Oh, gorgeous. We get asked a lot if the exposure thing has changed. A lot of people thought it was too bright outside or whatever. We did adjust that. There's also an exposure setting in the menu that's really just if you have like a really dim monitor or a really bright monitor, you can adjust it. But this is the ideal visuals on our end. It absolutely looks stunning. The ocean has gotten a complete redo from the last update. The black ocean that a lot of people experienced, that has also been dealt with. Let us know if it's still an issue for you. It shouldn't be. But this is another second class area. But let's go into my favorite space. This is the second class smoke room. I just think lighting wise it's iconic, but the interior design of this room with the green chairs, I love the green and the wood. It's just absolutely spectacular. I like it far more than the first class smoke room, but it's also quite the space as well. So this is, and you'll also notice one of the cool things Derek has added. It's a bit smoky in here. You can really see it in the third class smoke room as well. All right, let's keep heading through. We're on B deck. So A deck is completely devoted to first class. So you actually won't have any access point to A deck on the in the second class stairs. So you have to head up a little bit farther to none other than the boat deck. You can head right on out, all one level for second class, and we got those beautiful funnels. Absolutely stunning work by Derek. Totally just giving the best facelift to this project. It is magnificent. And funny enough, there's more that he's been working on the Cafe Parisienne for a separate thing that we can talk about in a little bit. He's been working on just giving little improvements to the cafe, and he's already making it look even better somehow. So he just has so much that he can do. Boat deck looks spectacular. Folks, let me know in the chat if there is a space that I ever miss. I'm going to try to get through as much of this as I can. If I miss a space that you're like, no, we must see the Master-at-Arms cabin, put it in the chat, and one of my trusty... let me just pull up my Discord, so in case somebody says anything. So there's a really cool thing that I'm going to show you. Well, let's go forward. Let's go into the Officers' Promenade. So the Officers' Promenade is a little small skip point for reasons that we will get into for Project 401. I have an idea for how we are going to deal with crew spaces. But you can come to this Officers' Promenade. But one of the cool things... is you, of course, can go forward into first class, which is what we're about to do. But you can also come over to this door, and you will see to Scotland Road. This is a major skip point. This goes all the way down to E deck. This is an engineer's staircase that goes all the way down to Scotland Road. So that's a nice shortcut because we don't have the staircase, but you can just skip down there. But let's head on through. So a big question people have had: if we have levels, what are the loading times like? The loading times are going to change depending on who you are, or like not who you are. They'll change based on how your computer runs and whatnot. I have a nice setup. I'm certainly not the greatest setup in the world, but let's see this loading point into first class exterior. It's one of the larger levels in the game. Boom. That is the longest loading point I have ever had, and of course it was on a stream. But yeah, it's a super simple thing. It's one of the bigger levels, but we are now in first class. Compass platform. It's just, I can't say enough how smooth and just refined it all is. Everything is just so much cleaner. You see so much less issues than even like my nicer end computer was major struggling. If you had an issue running this before, it may be much better off now. One of the things, here's those signs I was talking about. In fact, while they don't line up perfectly, to gymnasium, same text. So while people have asked if there's an improvement at all with the way this runs, of course, yes. There's been a drop in how intense it is to run these, partly because we opened up, or we leveled off some things, like the officers' area here is its own level, because we were able to open these doors now. You can pop in to the officers' quarters through here, which is so cool. If you're not a big Titanic person, you have no idea why I think that's cool. Just trust me, that was really cool that I can go in that door now. Of course, we head down here. We've been here a lot. The wireless room looks spectacular as always, but we've seen the wireless room so much. Let's see some new stuff. I'm going to do a little speed down the hallway to the bridge. Now, the bridge is the same, but there's a lot of new stuff. There's some new things around. I'll let you take a look in person. Some props got updated. Beautiful view of the forecastle deck and the forward well deck. The only two exterior spaces that you are not allowed to go to at the moment. And as I said, these officer stairs are still closed because of the way things line up. We have already been discussing potentially changing that with Project 401. Demo 401 is as finished as it's going to be, but something to look forward to with Project 401 is the potential for a few little spaces to join our already 50% of Titanic. There's some little spaces that we have talked about adding for the longest time, just for quality of life, honestly, like those crew stairs, for example, like just taking the time to fix those issues so you can go down those stairs. It's the only part of the boat deck that we don't have, that sort of thing. So let's take a really good look at all this. Let's go up on the compass platform. The stairs from the boat deck down to Scotland Road. We haven't talked about adding those, and I don't think we will. But that's just an example of something we might work on to just improve the overall experience of the demo. Fill in these little gaps that are left by some random things. But I want to show you something that I absolutely love about this demo. Something that we opened up for exactly that reason, sort of a quality of life thing. So the Engineer's Promenade is fun. It acts as part of the level of whatever level you just came from. Oh, you know what? In fact, sorry. Let's go through here. So had I gone through to the second class, that's when second class would have loaded. But we do have the A-Deck Promenade. And in Demo 1.4, the A-Deck Promenade was not open all the way. You could come out on it and look around, but it is now fully open. Every little thing, every deck chair, all the way to the front here. To the forecastle, all the way up here. Magnificent. Gorgeous. And, cool thing, another skip point. If you come up to this door, you can go to the crew quarters, which takes you down to what is inside that door, if I am correct. Or no, maybe it's one of those doors. That's third class, I believe. I think it's the doors on the inside. We'll find out when we go down there. Titanic nuts are absolutely screaming at their computers right now. Okay, so I wanted to jump. There's so much to show you. All right, we'll go this way. I want to show you a really cool spot. One of my favorite spots on the ship. Running by. Beautiful water, beautiful day. Main mast. Oh yeah, we have this fan room in here now, which is pretty cool. That's the window that was on the A deck level of the second class stairs, which we passed. Very cool. And I believe, oh, there's a map. Can you find all the maps? There you go. That'll be a fun game for everybody. Let's head in here. Pretty cool. Doors open. So we're going into first class. This is the longest loading point that you will experience in this. With my nice setup, it takes a good 5 seconds to load up. But here we go. And we are into first class. Stunning room here. So in the previous demo, this room, the previous update, this room was sort of on its own. You have to go out here, just like passengers would. The passengers would have no access to this room except for through these sliding doors. This is one half of the veranda and palm courts. But now you can, as the crew could, you can come into this room and go back into the pantry and bar, which has a window to the other veranda and palm court and the smoking room, first class smoking room. My favorite thing about this room, however, are the portholes up on the ceiling. That is part of the raised roof of the first class smoke room that looks out into the second class area. I've seen those portholes on models that I've built and whatnot, and it's just it's pretty cool to be inside that room. So we are now in the first class smoke room, which was, as Derek mentioned earlier, he mentioned earlier was one of his big headache spaces, that things just like weren't lining up or weren't working out right lighting wise. But I mean, I gotta disagree with the guy. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. Just an iconic space. The light coming through the revolving door, the light coming through. One of my favorite things I just love the design of Titanic with these raised roofs, like the portholes in the pantry. These windows up here that actually go out to the boat deck, and then these go out to A deck. So there's a bit of a light difference because there's nothing impeding the light coming through here, but that's on the A deck level is on a promenade, so it's a bit more sheltered. I just think that's gorgeous. Something that people bring up a lot, these chairs, that's not a bug. That's not a model that's wrong. Those chairs just look like that. I don't know what the idea is behind them being so short, but that's that. All right, we are now in the aft stairs. So something that I should think about here is kind of blowing through first class a little bit, just sort of let you guys see first class for yourself. You've seen it quite a bit. I mean, this room has just improved so much with the lighting, and it's magic, absolutely magic. You've seen so many of these spaces already, but we do have some new cabins in first class, and I do not want to skip out on those. So let's take a look at some. So we added a lot of first-class cabins, and you can see them quite easily because light streams out into the hallway. This is cabin B81. All right. It's just gorgeous. All the cabins that we added in first class are just unreal. They're so beautiful. And to be able to come in here and just experience it is so unique and so wonderful. You can spend all the time in the world in these rooms. I will not spend too much time in them because we've got places to go. Oh, here's another room. In fact, these are 3 rooms that are combined. So this is B63? Yeah, B63. This is in the modern Dutch style, if you weren't aware. Beautiful stained glass windows just for your cabin. Like, how cool is that? Absolutely spectacular. The lighting, this looks like a picture. The way that it's so great. So great. But these rooms are all connected. As you may know, these suites on B deck and C deck could be combined to be much larger suites, which brings us into B59, which, if you've seen Matt's incredible Titanic University video about all the photos taken aboard Titanic, it's one of my favorite videos he's ever made. I've watched it so many times for research purposes, but this room is the most photographed cabin aboard Titanic. Specifically from like this vantage point. That bed, the 4-poster bed in the old Dutch style, is just constantly was photographed. I mean, constantly, like 3 times, but that was a big deal for Titanic, which did not get photographed very often. So this is an absolutely spectacular space. If you played Adventure Out of Time, Titanic Adventure Out of Time, this may look familiar to you because I believe the Conkling's cabin was modeled like this. When Beatrice came in, right, that was her name. You could see the 4-poster behind her. And then this modern Dutch cabin as well, which is B57. Gorgeous. Gorgeous room. The fact that these are all combined into one is so cool. And then you can come out this way. Let me make sure I got that number right. Yep, B57. And then, of course, we have had in the demo before this sitting room. I believe we've had this in the demo before. Let me know if I'm wrong. B55, B51, with the adjoining private promenade. Stunning. My fiancée. Moving on. We have the boarding entrances here. The boarding point for first class has been moved up here. It is no longer at the D deck entranceway. Making that little change. I believe there's one more cabin over here. Let me just pop in. Yep. Beautiful. This one's wild. Can you imagine sleeping in this room? I mean, I know it would have been comfortable at the time, but I would just be so uncomfortable in a room like this. Just way too nice. Way too nice. Okay, you can take a look at all those cabins on your own time. Moving on, let's head downstairs to C deck, to one of our new spaces. So you've seen the purser's office before, but did you know that now you can go into the purser's office? Spectacular. Here's one of those maps. Absolutely incredible. So if you were to look at this map, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to C deck. Purser's office, right down here. You can see things that are in the demo that you might have passed. The switchboard room, there's a pantry there that's visible. The bathroom, these are all the cabins on this deck. There's a lot of cabins on C deck. 55, 97, 57, 103, 105, 120, 113, 70. Absolutely incredible, but the thing I think a lot of people would want to see. C73, what do you say? Let's go to C73. But this space is incredible. Coming into the purser's office is just so freaking cool. Let's go over here. Oh, by the way, passengers are encouraged to enjoy the sea trial of Titanic Project 401. See, there's something I did. I mean, I didn't make that, but I decided what it would say. This is a beautiful room. C70. Yeah. Jack Thayer's room. The young Jack Thayer's room. Gorgeous room. Love it. But C70, so I'm on the wrong side. Let's head through here. Past these two little cabins. You can take a look at those all you'd like. I'll be here all day if I show you absolutely everything that this demo has to offer. But this room right here, the infamous C73. This was, of course, your player's cabin in Titanic Adventure Out of Time, the 1996 computer game that spawned many a Titanic enthusiast, myself included. I saw the movie when I was a kid, but it was this game that made everything click and made me obsessed with Titanic. And so having C73, the real one here, it's not in the correct style. Oh, sorry. C73 in Adventure Out of Time was not in the correct style that it should have been. This is the correct style. This is the modern style of Harlan and Wolff's design. So it's not like Italian Renaissance or Dutch or anything like that. It's just a modern style. I forget, somebody can put in the chat what the style was. I think it was like the modern Dutch or something. It was a darker wood style in Adventure Out of Time. But we do have, for funsies, the trunk. It even has some of the props in it, which is super fun. You'll have to keep an eye out in Project 401, the final Project 401, for some more fun Easter eggs to Adventure Out of Time, because we adore Adventure Out of Time at Vintage Digital Revival. So let's head back this way. We've got the lovely first class aft stairs is the bottom landing. The way that the light comes down the well now is just incredible. Well done, Derek. The Maid and Valet Saloon. Here's a new space for first class passengers. We have a pantry here, which is pretty cool. So much to do, so much to see. I won't make that joke again. All right, let's head on through here. We come back here, and this is the hospital area. You go down here to the hospital, which has been there before, but some new spaces we have. The surgery, the doctor's cabin. He would sleep back here, I believe, and then up here would be sort of where people could come for checkups. Surgery for Americans. Surgery on Titanic meant, like in the UK, that means like doctor's office, basically. Surgery in the United States means you're getting cut open, which that is not the same thing. And we got some more cabins for some other crewmen here. The restaurant manager's cabin and the chief steward's cabin. Spectacular. And if you go through here, you go back out to the second class enclosed promenade where we began our adventure today. But we will not be doing that. We are going to... Oh, God, I want to show you something that's in this room, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let you discover it on your own. There's a shortcut from this room to a very cool spot, so you'll have to take a look. You'll have to take a look around yourself. I'm not getting any major messages through Discord, so hopefully everything is still going well. Stream-wise. But let's head... Okay, we gotta go... I guess we gotta go down to the dining saloon. The dining saloon looks better than ever. It's also completely open now, so you can go through this door and explore the entire room. No chairs or food trolleys in the way. You can experience the entire thing. Here's a famous photo, right? Something like feel like right here. How'd I do? Famous Francis Brown photo. Pretty close, I think. I think I nailed it. All right. I'm going to show you one of my favorite things. So you can go down to E deck. Of course you can. You can always go down to E deck, but we're going to go somewhere else because we have a new way of getting around the ship that wasn't here before. So we're going to run down here, or we're going to go down this way. We have this lovely staircase, which was here in the last update, but this took you straight down to the squash court and the post office. Let's go on down. You will recall the squash court is around that way, and the post office is through this door. But we are going to forego that for now and head through this gate, which was closed previously, to this first class area. So you can head this way, and this would take you to third class accommodations. That's the front of Scotland Road, which we're not ready to go to just yet. But you can head back this way. First class cabins, first class cabins. So we have a curtain in the way. Famously, in the new update, if you see a curtain, you can probably go through it. Head aft. Boop, boop. Here you are at the bottom of the grand stairs that you know and love from previous updates. But one cool thing that we have added is down this hallway. Cabin E23. Very big letters. This is Molly Brown's cabin. There's a lot of back and forth about what exactly her cabin was, but I believe most have agreed that it was, in fact, this cabin. There's a great quote from her describing the iceberg collision. She was reading a book at the time, and I believe she said that she was thrown to the ground or she hit her head on something. Bit dramatic, but nice, simple room. I mean, a first-class cabin with bare steel on the ceiling. That's a unique thing for us because all the rest of our suites are beautifully, everything's covered and all that. So even someone like Molly Brown had some steel. And when we talk about THG, which Kyle has been going wild on, he's recreating every beam, every frame, and whatnot. This is a perfect example of how that work will appear in the game. This is the steel that he's currently working on. Only some of it is covered by this joinery, these wood panels. But even those wood panels are greatly determined by the framing. I mean, you can see this room is that many frames wide, that sort of thing. So things will fit together much better. Of course, we have the squash court. Let's do that. We'll show you one fun shortcut that we have added that may or may not be something you are aware of. So you come down to F deck here, and you have this hallway back here, as you always have had. This cabinet still open, always has been. But you have these doors are closed. The Turkish bath doors are closed because they are their own level. Because first class is just such a large space. We have so much of first class, and it's so detailed and beautiful that we do have a couple split off points. But you could see how quick that load was. It was like a second. But this is the Turkish bath cooling room. We've been here. We love it. No message, no secret message left by anybody for us to solve. I don't believe this was open in the demo previously. But one of the big changes that I asked for, I apologize to anybody who loved this. There used to be a person laying in this. I asked Derek, please take that out. It's just so random that we have one human being on the ship and he's laying in the electric bath. That was a relic of before my time. That J. Bruce Ismay NPC that sadly did not get any use outside of that because it wasn't very good. This is the swimming bath, of course. Funny story about this swimming bath. The other day I was just running around the ship looking for bugs to tell Derek about, and couldn't find any, of course. But I did tell him, hey, I did find one bug. There's this weird. Obviously, it's meant to be a porthole cover, but it's on the wall. That obviously should not be there. You should take it off and go for a swim. And he said, no, that's supposed to be there. I was like, no, it's not. There's no way that is obviously a bug. Like, what is that supposed to be? And he sent me a picture. There is photographic evidence that there is what looks to be a porthole cover on the wall. It's kind of hard to decipher exactly what it is. So there it is. That's what you get when you're trying to recreate everything exactly. Sometimes you don't know what things are, but you do it. Let's go to linen storage, shall we? So that was a little skip point. We're in the same level as the baths. I mean, it's all one thing. You can do this all day. But what is this? So this is all brand new. We've got some linen storage. Famously, Titanic did not have laundry or a way to clean sheets. So they had to have soiled linen storage, and they would just wash it when they got to shore, which is pretty fascinating. More of that, and more closets, lockers. That's another linen storage room, I believe. A new staircase that takes us back up to E deck, which takes us to Scotland Road. Let's head into third class, and let's take a sip of water. I think I'm going to do... I know what I'll do. I'll show you guys to a certain spot, and then I'm going to give Derek a call, and we'll have Derek join us for the what will be the second half of this exploratory experience. It's 5:30 now. I planned on only going till 6, but I'm probably just going to keep playing because there's so much to do, so much to see. I can't make that joke a third time. So we're about 30 minutes away from the demo releasing. So get your computers ready. So this is what Derek was talking about. This is one of his favorite spaces because he was able to open up the cargo hatches from above to let light stream down. Why would you do that? Well, partly because it looks awesome, but also because in the nighttime mode, which will feature in Project 401, this space would look essentially the same in either, because there's not a lot of light difference. Of course, there's a porthole there, and there's a porthole in each hallway, but this would essentially be the same. So this gives us some variance. But also, to be honest, if on a hot day, if they needed some fresh air down below, they would do things like this. Open up the cargo hatch and let some fresh air in. So this is just a cool way to see Titanic like you've never seen her before. And that really is kind of our mission at this point. But these are the cargo hatches forward, because if you head up this little stairway here, you are in the third class open space, which has drastically changed. Of course, I mean, it's obviously looks so much better, so much more beautiful, but the light streaming down really helps this room pop, if you will. Stunning room, absolutely beautiful room, and there's another little level load point all the way over here. This door goes to a crew companionway, which we will get to. I guess I could go in there now. No, I'm going to save it. Whoa, I just kind of jumped down those stairs. Exciting. So there's a cabin here. I'm not going to show it to you guys right now. Oh, wait. Jake would absolutely die if I don't show it. This is the Master at Arms cabin. For some reason, we have a fan, Jake. This is his favorite room, it seems. He talks about it all the time, so here we are. Could not go another minute without showing you this room here. We're sitting down. I'm just pressing the crouch button. There's no sitting. Crouch button is wonderful. You need to get used to using the crouch button because there are spaces in the boiler rooms and such that you cannot access without the crouch button. You can see down below. You can also go down these stairs, but we will not do that for the time being because we have places to go and people to see. We've got a boiler room here and a boiler room there. We will get to those in a moment. We're gonna explore third class first, and then we will get to some of these crew spaces. In fact, this will work out well. We explored second class. We explored enough of first class. Maybe we'll finish off with the grand stairs because we didn't go all the way up to the boat deck on the grand stairs level. But we'll finish third class. That should take us to about 6 o'clock. I will get Derek back on the phone, and then we'll do the crew spaces, and then we'll finish with that. We'll finish at what else but Honor and Glory crowning time. So here is the third class dining saloon. Always a favorite space of ours. It just looks gorgeous. One thing that people may notice that Derek has done, which he and I have never talked about this, but you'll notice that the ship is very much lit by the sunlight coming in rooms. Like there are light bulbs, but you'll see that the only light bulbs that are on are often, in the center of the space. And this goes for all classes. But any space that's well lit by daylight is not lit. Now, today, in today's world, we wouldn't do this. We would light everything all the time. But it's very accurate to how Titanic would be. Light, it would be a much darker ship than I think we would be used to. Lights also ran very hot. So it does kind of lower the temperature of rooms, especially down below where the ventilation wouldn't have been as nice. So this little emergency door, do you remember where this goes? Engineer's Promenade. So that's the door that you can head up to get to the boat deck. Let's continue on this way. Running. We're going to go past this door on the left, because we're a third-class passenger at the moment, and we're going to go past this door on the left because we're a third-class passenger. Everybody, we can't be doing all of that just yet. Third-class gangway entrance. This is the spawn point for third class, next to the potato room. Where else? This is access to the second-class forward staircase, which we have already seen. We've stood on the other side of that door, actually. Now, this space is interesting. This watertight door was closed in the previous demo because this stretch of hallway didn't exist. It's a perfect example of just how our Titanic was pieced together room by room, hallway by hallway. We didn't really make large pieces all at once. So these were two just separate areas. And the problem with this was, if you were exploring our ship and you were just trying to pretend like you were a third class passenger and just exploring third class, you could not get from Scotland Road to the third class stairway and go up to the general room and smoke room because this hallway wasn't there. You had to go in this door to go to the second class stairs, go up a level or two, over and down, and it just kind of not fun. So a big request that we got from fans, that we got from patrons, was put this hallway in so we can have a third class experience if that's what we want. And so we listened, and here we are. And you know what? I misspoke. It was actually this hallway. After all that, this was the section that I'm talking about. So you could not get through to the third class aft stairs in any way. That's looking down to G deck. This is one of the cargo hatch number 5. So yes, this is the door. Sorry, that has light coming down from cargo hatch number 6. So this area is brand new. We have a map here. We've got a pantry that is visible from the outside here. We've got stairs heading on down to the lower levels of third class. And we have, for the first time in a THG experience, a VDR experience, is a third class cabin here. I don't believe the other third class, there's 2 third class cabins now. I'm trying to remember if the first one was available in the last demo. It's been so long. But a third class space. I love that the walls don't even go all the way up to the ceiling. Would have been a very loud place to live, I imagine. No real privacy in any way. This is a pretty cool space to come all the way back here. I think this is about as far back as you can go, as far aft as you can go, and you can really tell because of how drastic the bulkheads are here, because we're right under the stern counter, I believe is what it's called, under the poop deck, that stern overhang. So we are heading up the third class stairs. These 2 doors are accessible. They go through to the second class accommodations. We were literally on the other side of that door a little bit ago, but we're not going to go in there right now. We're going to keep heading up. This hallway is still blocked off to more third class accommodations that way, but we're not interested in that right now. We are heading up to the top of the staircase, and these 2 rooms, which we've been to quite a lot, you can see a nice little smokiness to the third class smoke room. Even a recently put out cigarette or cigar. Pretty cool. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorite spaces, my favorite third class space for sure, is the third class general room. It is the most reminiscent of nomadic, or at least I should say nomadic spaces most reminiscent of the general room, because just the way that if you've been on the Nomadic, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, moving on. Let's head outside, shall we? To the aft well deck, and you can see the hatches have been uncovered, so the light is coming down. There's lots of debate. What color was the hatches? Were they the dark mast color of the dado around the well deck? Were they black? We are going with black at this point. If you're upset by that, we can talk. Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you think the color was. That's the best way to deal with it. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous out here. We were just up there earlier, if you recall. But we have not been out to the poop deck yet, so let's head on out. We are 15 minutes away from the release of this experience. Demo 401, Update 2.0. Off the edge here. The Union Jack, the special one for Captain Smith. It is not the... Somebody asked the other day why we have the Australian flag off the back. It's not the Australian flag. Close, though. It looks very similar. We have the docking bridge here, of course. Looks beautiful. There was a bunch of material issues back here, I remember. Like, these were always black because of some issue, but Derek fixed it because Derek is a master. Okay, let us move on. I'm going to go find... let's take a slight detour. No, let's not. Let's stick in third class. I want to show you guys something very specific. I want to talk about something really quick, and then we're going to get Derek, and we're going to start exploring the crew areas. I know you're very excited, so we're running real fast. I hope you folks are enjoying all of this. I'm having a fantastic time. All right, our first crew space we're going to go to is this room, and for a specific reason. So this is the engineer's mess. But there is a poster on the wall that I want to show you, and I want to talk a bit about what is on the poster, and then sort of the beef of this stream is finished, and then we will hang out for another hour. But I just don't want people to miss some information. First of all, some shout outs that I want to make. Number one, our bestie of the month, Jack, our new media manager. You may recall Jack won our screenshot competition last year, and the screenshots that they were making were just so great, and we were like, do you want to do our screenshots? And they were like, sure. And it turns out they make incredible videos and trailers. So Jack is one of our best new additions to the team. All the trailers you have seen this month are they're doing. The initial trailer that we made for this update was very heavily worked on by myself, Jack, and Derek. But all the other ones, the first class tours and the comparison video, are all Jack. And he has some great stuff coming up over the next few months. So we're very excited to have Jack around. So thank you, Jack. Another shout out to Andy, our Andy Kane, our website tech. He does so much more than just that. Like he's a true member of the team, and he has his hand in a lot of his opinions on this and that. And we want to get him more involved on a programming side. But Andy, like last minute, we threw a bunch of changes to the website at him, and he worked some magic. So if you go to our website right now, you'll see a bit of a facelift because we really are working on 2 Titanic projects now. The VDR Titanic Empire, as I call it. We have THG, which is that intense study of Titanic's construction that we discussed earlier, and Project 401. So now our website reflects that a bit more. So go take a look at the website. Thanks to Andy for doing that. A couple things I wanted to say. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, we're on Reddit, we're on Discord. Follow us on all that stuff. Because we do a bunch of different things on all those. Yes, on YouTube, if you're watching this, it's because you're a YouTube person. But on Discord, we interact with fans constantly. We post on Twitter a lot. I personally post on Reddit as myself. So if you want to just like chat with me, go over to Reddit, and we chat a lot. And then we're on Facebook still. I'm personally not on Facebook, so I won't respond to anything. And then Instagram, of course. Something else I want to talk about, we have some partnerships brewing, some fun partnerships coming up that we can't talk about right now because nothing has been signed. But we're really excited about them. They're not things that they are other companies that have really responded to the changes that we have made over the last year, especially, but really since 2020. They were both companies that have existed for a while, but our attempt to gamify Titanic wasn't in line with what they do, but this historic approach that we are now taking, that we have been taking since 2020, but really the last year with THG and Project 401, they reached out and they were like, we want to work together. That's what we do. Just like preserving history kind of stuff. And so Project 401 is going to benefit from both of them so much. Just in everybody helping everybody. It's going to be such great symbiotic relationships that we're very excited about. I can't wait to tell you all about them. We should be able to talk about one of them next month and then one the following month. That's my hope. So keep an eye out for new things. We are doing, let me see if I can pop out of this for a second. Nope, to this. Hey, there I am. You can see all of my stuff. Don't look at anything. THG secrets. I want to pull this up. We have a screenshot competition. I just mentioned the screenshot competition from last year. We're doing it again. Post your best screenshots of Update 2.0 in the 401 Media channel on our fan Discord. If you're not on Discord, please join to do this. Discord is free. It's not a stressful thing. It's actually quite a lot of fun. On April 1st, we will announce the developers' favorite 4 shots. And we will take fan reactions into account. You know how you can like love something or laugh at something. We will take a look at those to see what people think. Prizes to be announced. We have some ideas for prizes, but that image behind the text there, that is actually a screenshot from the game taken by Kyle. There are people always ask me this. There are no rules for this screenshot competition. Do whatever you want. Just keep in mind we will likely choose winners based on screenshots that really resemble our game. So if you take it and you add monsters to it, I don't know, we're not going to pick that one. But definitely have some fun. Black and white stuff. Do whatever you want with it. We've seen some people add some really cool things to our images, and maybe you will win our screenshot competition. We'll definitely feature all the winners on our Facebook, our Instagram, and all that. One thing I want to talk about now that we've talked about all this stuff, and we only have 8 minutes before the demo comes out, and that is Project 401. Titanic Project 401 is the project that this demo is leading us towards. This is our new logo. If you haven't seen it, this is by Luke McHugh, our amazing UI UX graphics guy. Spectacular. I love this logo. So Titanic Project 401 will be is our current focus for most of the team, for me, Derek, Luke, and others, while the hull of Titanic gets better and better and bigger and bigger. And there will be crossover. People should keep in mind. A thing that I like to say is that THG and Project 401 are being developed together, much like Olympic and Titanic once were. And because of that, they will benefit from each other. So let's hop back into the game here, because I want to show you something that Ratha, you guys may know Ratha, who does some of our lighting, some of our community stuff on Discord and whatnot. Ratha's a very talented 2D artist and 3D artist. The things that they do is really, really incredible. So I asked if they would help me make a poster that is going to be found around the ship, and that is this poster. You may have seen me walk past it a few times. This is, of course, a recreation of a famous Titanic advertisement, but it's all the text has been exchanged for Project 401 things. So you'll see here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Vintage Digital Revival, first sailing of the latest edition of the VDR Fleet, Project 401. So it will be available on Steam. Date to be announced. Of course, it is not nearly close enough to be telling you when we think it will actually be finished. But we've announced some features on Discord and conversations, but never like fully let it out. And so here they are. These are some things you can expect in Project 401. So virtual reality headset support. That is, of course, an absolute necessity for us. We want you to have that virtual reality experience, to walk around Titanic and be able to look up at the Grand Staircase Dome, to be able to look down a cargo hatch. That's something we definitely want and can confirm we will be making happen. While the demo currently only has the daytime setting, you may be used to the nighttime setting in the previous update. There is no nighttime setting in this because we are saving it for Project 401 to release alongside a sunset setting, which is something we haven't quite spoken about publicly. So there will be 3 times of day for you to explore Titanic in, and each one will feature their own little things. Like we talked about, the cargo hatches are open in the daytime. They won't be open at night. Other things will be slightly different, and some of the gameplay features that I'm working on will change depending on what time of day you are exploring. In-game deck plans, something we need. We have a map all around the demo, as I've shown you. You can find these maps that Kyle and Matt made. But we want you to have that video game experience of pressing a button and having your deck plans and seeing where you're standing. I'm currently working on that at the moment, what those deck plans will look like, hopefully. Very excited about that. We will be using Matt's deck plans to sort of get that going. Full controller support. A lot of you love to use a controller to explore. Makes sense. I like to do it as well. But you have to use a mouse and keyboard to get through the menu. This will solve that. And updated environmental sound design, something you will all find when you get into the demo. There are very little, and I say very little because I think there's only one sound effect in the entire game, which are the clocks tick, which do add quite a lot, believe it or not. When you pass a clock and it ticks in your ear as you go by, it's quite fun. But there are no other sounds in the game. So when you go in the engine room, it is silent. When you go on deck, there's no wind. We know that that's a massive thing that's missing. People want that experience, and we want you to have that experience. But Project 401 will feature an entirely updated environmental sound design. You'll have the engines. You'll have wind in your hair. You'll have the engines rumbling underneath your feet when you stand on the poop deck. There's a lot of fun stuff. Doors opening and closing, that sort of thing. We're very excited to bring you that. And then there are historic features. Not historic in the way that they've never been done before, but history-based features, which are my doing. This is something I've been working on for well over a year. A lot of you know I've been out of the country traveling on a cruise ship. I'm a performer on a cruise ship, and I spent almost my entire contract, 6 months at sea, writing these features. So you can rest assured that when you play Project 401, it was created at sea, which it should always have been. These features include White Star Testimony, SS Particulars, and Queen's Island Photographs. These are 3 features that I've just devoted my life to lately. And I'm so excited to tell you more about them. If you remember log entries from the THG Alpha, which we talked about years ago, they're very similar to that. They kind of grew from that. They're far superior versions of that, I would like to say. And, these may transfer over to THG. There may be other features that we think about for THG, but I'm just so excited to tell you about them. I will personally make a video of some sort where I go through each one of these and tell you all about them. But that is for the future. There is a 4th feature that I'm working on right now that I can't even put on this poster because it's so new. Oh boy, very excited for you guys to see that if it happens. That's why it's not there, because I don't know if it's going to happen. But I'm really hoping so. And then other additions to be announced. We've talked about how There's a few spaces we might add here and there. So this will grow a bit larger than 50%. Not by much. We're not adding entire sections of the ship like we did this time. Famous last words, though. But no, we're going to keep it small. We have a list, an ongoing list, and honestly, some patrons are suggesting their desires for. It'd be really great if we had this hallway to connect these rooms, or you could add this staircase and you could go up there. So we do take patrons' thoughts into account, and our rest of our fans as well. But patrons get a little extra attention when they have an idea. So let us know what you would like to see. Keep it small, though, folks. We're not going crazy this time. We want to focus on the features and like the sound design and whatnot before this game is ready to come out. There we go. It is 5:59. Wow, I nailed that. So, folks, at 6 o'clock, which is any second now, project or demo 401 will be out, and it will be in your hands. And we're going to keep exploring Titanic. I'm going to get Derek on here, and we are going to explore the last areas, the crew areas, and then I missed a couple first class spaces as well. Let's see who's counting down. I've got the time on my phone. Still 5:59. Everybody's freaking out. That's what we like to see. We really hope you enjoy it. It's been a long time coming, especially on Derek's end, working long hours to make this happen. It is 6 o'clock. Get to it. Get downloading that file. We do have the specifications, the requirements on our website, on the demo website. Double check those. Make sure you have the capability to run this. One of the things that you need is the DirectX 12. That is a requirement now. I think it always was, but people found a way to like make it happen. It is required. But keep in mind, there is some ways around the requirements if you want to just explore all the smaller levels, and like we talked about that earlier. And last thing I want to point out, this is really cool. So if you've seen this poster before, it looks like we took the picture of the ship and the two spaces there, but actually these are two screenshots from our game, taken from the same perspective as that original poster. Go find this poster online and compare it to this. It's very cool how Ratha and I kind of got this together. And this image here, that is actually the Olympic. We took our Titanic and Olympified it for a second to take this picture, because in the original poster, it is Olympic and not Titanic in that shot, because that's what White Star Line always used to do. Just use Olympic in Titanic's place for advertisement purposes, because Titanic was not finished. So let me go get Derek real quick, and we will explore these last areas. Here we go. Let's get Derek out. I think you guys are seeing way too much.
Hello.
Hello, Derek. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Welcome back. Things are going a lot better since we last spoke.
Yes. So in terms of the download, seems like the WeTransfer link should be working. I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the mirror link, but for some reason, even though the file name matches the actual button, doesn't seem to work. But Andy's
on it.
On it.
Okay.
So, but anybody can start downloading. If you click the download mirror text underneath the button on the site, then that should get you what you need.
Great. So definitely do that, everybody. Get that download started, and then come back and continue watching the rest of this stream. So I'm Derek, if you can see on the stream, and if you could keep an eye on the chat as well. I'm in the turbine room, the turbine casing. And also, folks, we did want to do a question and answer, so let's start that. Send in your questions, and if Derek sees something fun, he can answer them, or relay a question to me if it's something I can answer. But cool thing about this turbine engine casing, you could not come in here before. I don't even think you could see it before. But you can not only come in, but you can also go a little ways down here to see this level, sort of the top of the room itself, and you can go up to see this level, but you can't move this hammer, this sledgehammer. Very cool. But this is the casing here. So, Derek, anything that you thought of while I was running around? I was trying to speak for you at points about DirectX 12, and I'm the last person that should be talking about technical things as I enter the engine room.
Yeah, well, I mean, because we switched to Unreal 5, the there's no longer a DirectX 11 workaround because Nanite requires DirectX 12. So, yeah, other than that, yeah, it seems like you've covered most areas, but I would be remiss if did you skip past B53 intentionally?
B53?
Yes,
Did I?
you went in the sitting room, but you didn't. You
Oh
didn't
my
go into
gosh,
the
that's
cab.
right. I didn't. I forgot it was there. There's
Yes.
so much in this demo that I forgot a major place. So we'll definitely swing by. In fact, I skipped a lot of cabins, and like the cabins are some of the coolest new additions. So we'll definitely pop in
Yes,
there.
yeah. Kyle mentioned what is it? C deck.
Yeah,
There's quite
I
a few.
skipped a lot of C deck cabins. Trying to. It actually worked out timing wise. I wanted to get through a couple things before talking a bit about Project 401, which ended right at 6 o'clock. So this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And I've got a quick update about the download. The main download button should be working now as well.
Great.
It's possible that if you were on the site that you may have to clear your cache. Or just
Classic.
try a different browser. Also, the site itself changed this morning, so if you're on the site a lot, it's even possible that you have the old site like still in your
Sure.
system.
Yeah, clear your cache. I'm gonna jump into the crew spaces now. We're in Scotland Road. There's these two doors that go to boiler rooms 5 and 6, but we're gonna get into the boiler room a really cool way. So if you head into the steward's lavatory here, a really nice space that has been somewhat here for a while. Or maybe that was just the lavatory next door. But you can head down this little space here to this door that says to Ash Place. And this will take us into the boiler room level. Again, like a 2-second loading time. Amazing. This is an ash hoist. Literally a hoist up this little funnel thing here that brings the ash up to this little area, which is how they kept the ash on. They had ash ejectors that would eject the ash out to sea, but they had this area, I believe, in case they were in port and they couldn't eject ash. There were laws, believe it or not, in 1912 to protect the environment in some way, I suppose. But you can come down to this level, and then this here you can climb down as well. So this is one of those spaces where you do have to crouch because there's just not enough space. But here we are in one of the boiler rooms, I believe boiler room 6. These catwalks above the boiler room were changed around quite a bit, but you can now go up here and take a look over the boilers. A lot of this was closed off in the previous demo. Derek, I believe you did a lot of work on the boiler rooms specifically. What did you do to kind of improve things here?
Well, the first thing, what I thought you were going to ask, but I'll get to that in a minute too. But I spent a lot of time. The collisions here are kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because of all the catwalks, and you've got things you can bump your head against all over the place, and that just took a while to get the collision to a point where it works. Unreal physics and collision is a little bit wonky in general, and so there's certain if you try to break it, I'm sure you could. But Yeah, one thing I did here is I redid a whole pile of textures and I added a lot of extra detail. So a lot of uh, these floors were basically clean before,
Right, I remember.
and so I have added a bunch of
Yeah, they
decals.
looked like
Um,
this because this stokehold I'm in right now is like closed. Like all the fires are closed, so it's sort of like they're not really working in this row. But
yeah, and
these
so it's
guys are,
pretty clean, yeah.
yeah. But this
And
one's a mess.
I also added some local Steam effects. The previous, I guess, demo 3 kind of had um, the whole room was full of steam.
Right.
That was kind of an issue with the coal bunkers because the steam, it's a the particles don't respect walls, so uh, you were getting these bright glowing particles in the coal bunkers. So instead of just getting rid of all the steam, we've placed a lot of localized effects around, different valves and things, just to it adds a cool effect to the boiler room.
Yeah. So historically, folks, we are standing in boiler room 5, right, which is the second boiler room from the front. Boiler room 6 would have been fully ripped open by the iceberg and flooded quite quickly. Boiler room 5 had some hope for it. It didn't quite fill because it didn't. The iceberg rip sort of the damage ended right about here. But you can go into this bunker where we have a little fun reference there for those in the know. But this side, this is like right about where the iceberg damage would have stopped because the sort of the last of the damage caused water to fill this bunker here. But I don't believe it fully made it into the boiler room proper. But this room here, this boiler room, would have been quite a mess quite quickly. But speaking of bunkers, I am going to just show, I'm not going to go up too far. Wait, did I go the wrong way? Is it this one here? You can go into this bunker. It's quite dark. I apologize if you can't see too much. But there's a mound of coal on this side that can take you up. Can take you some fun places. So go exploring, folks. Go see what you can find in the coal bunkers upstairs.
I just want to
Go
say
ahead.
one thing about the download. If one of the download links is very slow, then that's why we added the mirror. So you could try the main one. If what speed you get is going to depend. Some people will download really fast from the main download link, and some people need to use the mirror. So
Right.
just try them, see what speed you get, and download from the fastest one.
All right. Thank you, Derek, for the download update. So, folks, you will recall this area from the previous demo. We're heading up the fiddly trunk to the top to what is essentially A deck. We are on A deck right now, looking up this ladder to the funnel. But one new thing that we have is this little area here, which passes through the funnel casing itself, which is quite cool. You can now head all the way through to the fiddly on the other side, and what's fun about this is you get the back of the funnel, which is much more visible from here. Let's zoom in, shall we? Gorgeous. And you can even see the smoke coming out. It's magic. Absolutely magic. Okay, so we've seen the boiler rooms, we've seen the engine room. That's everything on the tank top. Now it is time to head forward to the fireman's passage. Couldn't remember what the word was. So let's head on down. Woo! Did a little jump there. All right. Here's a staircase down. It's a bit of a maze up here, so have fun exploring that. So we're in boiler room 5. You can see down this way here. You can go all the way here, and you can see all the way down. Let's zoom all the way in. You can see all the way down to the back of that's boiler room 4, 3, 2, and 1, all the way down there. Pretty cool. All right, running through. You should never run in a boiler room, but no one else is here, so we won't get in trouble. So this watertight door is closed. Let's open it and head on through to the crew spaces forward. This is our the in terms of new things, this is completely brand new. All of these spaces. Well, the fireman's passage was available, but everything beyond this point is never before seen in Project 401. So let's head up the fireman's stairs here, which famously some of the first water damage, water collecting, was seen at the very bottom of these stairs. Because we are heading in that part of the ship. But these stairs go all the way up to G deck. Sorry if you got a little dizzy there, but this is the G deck landing, and this is cargo hold number 1. Right? 1. Yes. This is the cargo hatch on the floor there. You can explore quite a bit in this room, so take a look around. But we're going to keep moving. Oh, let's look up. How about the cargo hatch being open on the forecastle deck? Beautiful light streaming down, as always. Let's get back out of here and head on up. Derek, are you seeing any good questions in the chat while I explore the fireman's quarters on F deck?
I'm keeping an eye on it. Guys, keep your questions coming.
Pretty cool to see some crew spaces, sort of for the first time. I mean, we've had the steward's quarters on Scotland Road, but never anything other than that. So now we have these pretty cool. I think I'm going the wrong way. This way? No, this way up. Cool. One staircase was for going up. One staircase was for going down. So this level.
I got a
go
question. For it. It says it's from Gamer Grenade. Hi Derek, you mentioned how nanite helps with optimization of the demo, and James touched on the limitations using reflection captures. Are there plans to use lumen in future builds? Not lumen lighting. There's Epic has promised that eventually it'll be possible to use lumen reflections for with static lighting. I don't know how well that's going to perform, but when that does become possible, we're certainly going to look at it and see if it's something that we might be able to introduce as an option, because I mean, reflection captures are very annoying to work with, very difficult to get good quality reflections out of them, and it's depending on how well the lumen reflections perform, it might be possible to just eliminate the static captures at all, which would be really nice. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see.
For folks watching, which is everybody, I just explored the chain locker down below the trimmer's quarters here, which is pretty cool to see. Not a place you'd want to be if the anchors were being dropped, but speaking from experience, when I lived on the cruise ship for 6 months, my cabin was a couple feet behind the chain locker on the ship. Very rarely did we drop anchor, but there was a couple times where we did, and 2 times where it was dropped while I was sleeping. In terms of rude awakenings, there is nothing worse than the sound of a chain being let out at like 6 a.m. Wow. It sounds like a war has broken out. We're on D deck, so we've reached the top of the fireman's stairs. But these stairs, of course, do go up to the main level of this area, which is C deck. So we are underneath the forecastle. The forecastle is up here. And again, not to just prove my point over and over again, but here's that steel that Kyle is, currently constructing that's just going to revolutionize the way that things like this are made, because everything is just so dictated by that steel. So you can go through this door here to the first class promenade. Remember when we were on A deck and there was the thing, and I was trying to decide if that was the third class door or whatnot, but that goes there. You can head through here to the cruise galley. This is our first and only galley on Titanic in our demo, of course. There are many others. There's the third class galley, there's the first and second class galley, but this is the cruise galley, which is pretty cool to see. Definitely explore this room. So this is one of your favorite rooms, is it not, Derek? Do you want to tell people what you did here with these? And I'll try and find some good examples.
So originally the skylight was above the range, whatever that's called.
Yep.
Wasn't actually open to it. I had, originally the plan was to put sort of fake emissive windows in there that gave out some light, which you wouldn't have gotten those nice sunbeams in there, and you certainly can't look outside through those portholes.
Yeah. Now you can see the crow's nest if you get, and just there it is, just the right spot.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of the first funnel.
Yeah.
But not only this, I also opened up on the other corner of the room. There's a cowl vent that is open all the way down.
Yeah. So if you come over here to these like water tanks, so this is the cowl vent on the forecastle deck. That's just forward of the breakwater. Yeah, I think forward of the breakwater. That's the light coming down through the cowl vent. The cowl vent, that's the big, you know what they are, the classic vents that ships have that go up like this, like a big bell shape. So that's been opened up. And then another vent on the forecastle deck and the poop deck are called bollards. They are the black things that that the ship could tie off to. You could tie the ship to port with these big bollards, and they have these little screw tops that open up and let light and air down below. And so Derek opened some of those as well, and that's what these are here, which you can even see some light coming down through those, which is pretty freaking cool. We're big fans of all these things. Now the first hatch is just fully out, and you can stand up on here and take a look all around, get a nice view of some things. Gorgeous. And yes,
somebody is asking, how tall is the protagonist that your plane's supposed to be in freedom units? I believe they're right around 6 feet, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 5'10" or something, somewhere in that area.
You can see light coming out of that one.
Not super tall, but also not super short.
That's the inside of a bollard right there, if anybody ever wanted to know what that looks like. This is the mess, the crew mess here. And you can see it. Let's see if it's not labeled here. It is the seaman's mess. That's right. And yes, you can fall all the way down this hatch. I'm not going to do it right now because it would take forever to come all the way back up. This is the windlass space. This is a really cool, unique space that is certainly a product of a Kyle snowball. I'm guessing we really wanted this space in here, and so this gate would be closed, but you'd be able to see in here. So Kyle thought, I'll just model a quick version of the windlass space so you can see it from out here. But eventually you get close enough that he thinks, well, I'll just make it perfect, and then you can come inside. So now you can come into the windlass space and take a look around. The gigantic wire here that heads out to the hose pipe in the front in the stem that you can get all the way out here for. Hold on, let's go.
Yeah, somebody's asking about what
Beautiful.
The player height is in real units. It's I believe it's 180 centimeters.
Real units and freedom units. I'm glad that that's what we're going with. That's funny. So yeah, this is actually a pipe that has the chain. I don't know why I'm pointing. You can't see me pointing at my screen. This pipe has the chain coming down into the chain locker below, which we were just at. And I'm trying to get by, and I can't. Here we go, this side. But yes, this massive wire wheel reel has the rope heading out, the hawser going out. My brain's starting to be fried because it's just been such a long day. Lots of fun machinery here. This ladder goes up to a hatch on the forecastle deck, which I will show you in a second. We can't go on the forecastle deck, but I can show you that. One last cool thing I love about this space, you will see there is a port there, like for mooring lines. They could send mooring lines through or drop them out or whatever, and tie off to this bollard. And there's one over here as well for the same purpose. And directly on the other side of this, you can also zoom way out. Right between these two mooring ports on the other side of that bulkhead is the name Titanic on the bow of the ship. You'll see when you see Titanic, it says Titanic, and then there's two holes, and that's what those two holes are, which is cool to just, for the first time, be on the other side of that famous visual. Okay, so that leaves us with one of the coolest parts of this space. You can head this way. This goes down, we'll go down there in a second, but this looks quite promising. To Crow's Nest. Boom. Beautiful. The view from the Crow's Nest. We're very excited to open this up for everybody to enjoy. Just a beautiful, very unique view from way up top. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than this. I'm excited to see some screenshots for a screenshot competition from up here. Beautiful view. Can't beat it. So that hatch I was telling you about, you've seen it a million times. You probably just don't know where it went or where it came from. That hatch right in the center next to that red hydrant, that opens, and there's a ladder that goes down to the windlass space. And then here's the chains that go down those pipes to the chain locker. There's the bollards that those tops unscrew to let light below to the various spaces below. So all of this matters to the things that we've seen below, which is pretty cool. And we got the big ship's bell. It's pretty great. I could stand up here forever, but we've got other things to look at. Let's head on back down to the crew areas. So one thing you can do, you can hang a right here and go down these stairs, which will bring you to a dead end. You can't go further down. Down here are the seamen's quarters. This closet, I believe, is for oilskins. That's what my memory is telling me. And we can go through this door to the third class open space, which we have already seen, and we've been here before. But this was that door I was telling you about to bring us through to here. So let's do this. Let's go back through here. We're going to head back up to first class, and the quickest way to get there will be to run through here and go to this door to the first class promenade. So we do not have the forecastle deck or the well deck open, and the officer's stairs aren't open. We've talked about all the reasons why in the past, but now you can pop out here at this sliding door that goes to the officer's stairs, and there's the forecastle again. There's the crow's nest. There's the cowl vent. I was right. Forward of the breakwater. I was losing my mind. And here we are. So the only thing we have yet to take a look at are some more first class spaces. We did all of second class. We did all of third. Let me know in the comments, and I know exactly how we're going to get into first class. Let me know in the comments, and by me I mean Derek. Let Derek know in the comments what we missed. If there's something in the demo that you know is there that we have not shown. But we're going to head back to the second class level, to the boat deck. Pop through the officer's promenade. Let the second class load for a quick second. And then we are on to the boat deck promenade. Oh, I'm going to show you this for those of you who've been watching for this whole time. Remember when we were in the smoking room, the first class smoking room, and the pantry and bar? There were two portholes in the ceiling that I love. Those are the portholes right here. these look down into the. In fact, you can kind of see it. That's crazy. I wasn't actually expecting that to even be in there, but you can kind of see some stuff in there, which is pretty cool. All right. Very unique view of things from this window. Never actually seen this view, which is pretty cool. Okay, so our last little secret shortcut. Let's take a look at the poop deck. Gorgeous, everything beautiful. Derek is a magician. We are going to head forward. So this little door here is quite fun, and it seems to be open. Let's go. Same level as second class. You can even pop right back out to the boat deck. But this opens up this crew companionway. It's really cool spiral stairs that come down here. We're still going. We're still going. This door here is not open, but it does take you to if in real life, it would take you to the first and second class pantry galley area. This is obviously for crew only, this spot, but here we are in more linen storage. A little fan area and more linen storage on the other side.
I believe it's a drying room,
right,
for linen, yeah.
Right, so this is the fresh linen on this side, this is the soiled linen on this side, and then this is the drying room in between, which is fairly interesting. And then here is a door that leads us out to first class, which I passed before. This is the space that I was like, I want to show you a really cool secret passageway. This is the area I was talking about. So it takes you from second class to first class through a crew companionway. And here we are. We are in the space. My computer struggling slightly to catch up, and we are there. Okay. So we are on C deck at the Maids and Valets Saloon. We've got the barbershop, which I skipped earlier. We've got some cabins this way and this way. Let's just take a look around. Most of the cabins are forward that we have available. Is this going to take me to C73? We looked at C70 already, so we got to go to the other side. So here's some little first-class cabins here. Sort of the basic modern style of Harlan and Wolff's design. These two are nearly identical cabins. One of those belongs to a passenger I don't know off the top of my head, but you will have to wait for the historic features to hear all about that. Cabin 105 and 103. I do know who had one of these two cabins. Again, you'll have to wait for the special historic features. This room is iconic. We've been in this room many times. Got to stop by and take a look for just art's sake. I mean, it's stunning. This is the Strauss cabin, C55, I want to say.
Yes,
and then this is their adjoining bedroom, C57.
The colors have changed in here a few times. It has.
Why don't you talk a bit about, while I look around their bathroom, about that process, about when we do change colors or textures or whatever, how we come to those, like how that happens.
Well, I can't answer it too much from a historical point of view.
Right, just from your point of view.
Because it's kind of, in the same way that others on the team probably view what I do as black magic. I kind of look at the researchers sometimes and it seems like black magic to me.
Right.
But that was kind of a back and forth where we're just changing colors, and they've got special black and white filters that can mimic the way that cameras back in the day worked, and so we just take the color images of the demo and compare a couple of theories, and of course on top of that there's various catalogs and things that say the colors, but at least from an engine point of view, I usually just swap things until the researchers say it's good, and then we stop.
Yeah, Yeah, it's fun to watch the researchers uh, debate things and talk through what might be here, what might be there. Um, as everybody should know, one of the things that we do take history quite seriously and historical things above all else. We do know there are some spaces in this demo that are just inherently not fully accurate because some of it was made before Scotland Road, for example, is quite outdated to what we now believe it looked like. Uh, it's certainly not to the historical obsession that THG will be with Kyle's current work on the hull. But this is pretty damn close.
Yeah, we still have to visit B-53 if you're heading up that way.
Yep, I sure am. Oh, and notice, everybody, passengers wishing to follow the fitting out of Titanic Project 401 may do so on Patreon. There you go. So what? Oh yes. So I came into the sitting room here. This is Charlotte Cardeza's sitting room with her private promenade. We looked at this already, but I didn't go in here. This is the Italian Renaissance room, I believe. Somebody can correct me. I always confuse this one with B68, I think.
I believe it is Italian, yes.
Right, Italian, with the satinwood interiors, which are quite wild. And it's fun, like when we look at rooms like this, somebody, like maybe a researcher, will say that wood looks a little too intense. That's like really wild pattern on the wood. Like, I don't know if anybody would actually do this on purpose. But someone else will say, I don't know, here's a picture of Olympics cabin with the satinwood interior, and you look at that picture, and that is what it looks like. It is a wildwood texture, or whatever you want to call it. Similarly, I know a discussion just happened with the Cafe Parisienne's carpet, that it that must not be right. But then you look at a picture, and no, it looks just like that, and so that's how it is. Sort of similar to my story about the swimming bath. It's just we're doing our best to make it as accurate as possible. We came down this hallway. We did those. I don't know. You know what I need? I think I need Kyle's map to see if there's anything I have missed. I need to find Kyle's map somewhere. Because I think I've...
Probably the...
oh my gosh, you know where we haven't gone yet? I haven't been to the lounge or the reading and writing room. In fact, this will be a great sort of finish to
or
everything.
The palm courts? Oh, no,
I did that.
The starboard one.
I did that. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't go through the revolving door back there, but people can do that. There's these two cabins here, which you've seen many times. This has been in a lot of stuff. Yeah, we did that. Oh, I guess we didn't go into the restaurant down here because I was kind of blowing through. I love the B-deck reception for the restaurant. The white paneling instead of the classic grand staircase paneling. It's like I believe it's Georgian. Here we are in the first class restaurant. I know this has changed quite a lot. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about with the lighting that Titanic would have had, where stewards would have turned lights off in the day if they could, because lights were very hot and not really necessary. So the lighting all the way against the walls and the windows provide all the light, and then in the middle you're just sort of, it's lots of side lighting, which looks beautiful, but it's just very different from what we would do today, I believe. Speaking from my experience on a cruise ship, there is not a single ounce of that ship that's not perfectly lit. Partly because, I don't know, we can do it, so why not? But also, I imagine if somebody trips and falls, they could sue the company for no proper lighting. But 1912 was a different time. So here we are in the Cafe Parisienne again. We can come all the way through this door to go to the second class promenade, of course, but we will not do that.
Yeah, I saw a thing about some people might be wondering where ray trace reflections went to. The simple answer is that it's not supported. It's considered obsolete, and it does not work with nanite at all. So we had to use nanite for performance reasons, and that was a trade-off that we had to make. Eventually, Lumen is going to completely replace the standard ray trace reflections in Unreal. And eventually it will also support static lighting. And so once that happens, we'll look at what might be possible to do with getting lumen reflections into maybe Project 401. But it's at this point it's not supported. So I can't even test it. I don't know how well it works. It's just not. Um, yeah, there's just no choice at this point.
So we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. We'll probably go into a question and answer thing after this once I can turn this off. But the last thing we're going to look at here are the lounge, the reading and writing room, and the top of the grand staircase. So, and then I think that's everything. And this room here in particular, the first class lounge, was a pain for a lot of people. Because of how intense it was going through the revolving door. Derek can talk a bit, if he'd like, about the troubles with this room and why it was such a pain for people last time, but it is running much better with this new update.
Yeah, it's just there's just a lot of a lot of unique models in this room.
Yeah.
And even the chairs used to be split into multiple parts rather than a single mesh, and I fixed a lot of that in here by just combining meshes where it made sense. I did a bunch of work with the textures to improve the usage of the textures. There's various things that were duplicated and loaded twice and that sort of thing. And yeah, and then on top of that, it's just nanite doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The lounge is still a huge level. There's a lot of texture data, a lot of light map data in here, but uh, most of the textures and most of the light maps have been switched to Unreal's virtual texturing system, which is very memory efficient. And so it streams. It's kind of like nanite for textures, and it streams things in pretty well.
It's unbelievable. It looks so incredible. I do want to point out I think like this the demo as a whole runs a lot easier on my computer when I'm not streaming and doing a phone call and having all the other things that I have running. So if you see a little pop,
yeah, and I mean you have a GTX 1080, which is almost 10 years old at this point. Like
really?
When it was released, it's we're talking about the current generation of cards is the 4000 series.
Gotcha.
So that's about 3 generations of cards ago, and so yeah, it's
sounds like I need to get a little upgrade.
Well, at some point maybe.
Yeah. We're in the reading and writing room now, which is supposed to be the female alternative to the smoking room. One of the most underused rooms on the ship. Was supposed to be cut in half. This little area turned into a stateroom, but obviously on Titanic they didn't have the time, but they did this on Olympic. But this room is stunning as well. I know it's a favorite of many people on our team, myself included. I do love this space. There's so many like this: the reading and writing room, the lounge, and in terms of first class spaces, reading and writing room, lounge, probably my favorite two. And then second class, the smoke room is hands down my favorite. And then third class, the general room is my favorite. But we are heading into the final space for today, the grand staircase, the top of the grand staircase, honor and glory, crowning time, the dome, looking gorgeous as always.
Ooh, there was one thing I wanted to point out about the reading and writing room.
Yeah.
And that is that I fairly recently replace the curtains we had really awful, ugly curtains
Oh
that
yeah,
blocked most of the upper windows,
yeah.
and
Oh, that's great.
they, yeah, you can now see a little bit onto boat deck
Yeah, you can
from,
see the deck
yeah.
chairs up there, which again, as I said earlier in the stream, is one of my favorite things about Titanic is the way that the boat deck windows pop out on the top, and now you can see much better. And if you go in this room too, you can see some more up there, and you can see them stacked against the wall there. That is so cool. Well done, Derek.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, back into yeah, back into the grand stairs where we will wrap this up, and we'll get to a little question and answer type deal. But yeah, Honor and Glory looking lovely as always.
One thing I'll point out, it's a weird bug with Unreal. The revolving doors are still statically lit, but for some reason when you rotate a statically lit object, rather than the lighting just being wrong, it just turns black. So that's a bug that is with the engine that we can't fix. So just in case,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people will notice it because it can be pretty obvious.
Good call. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of those little things. It's just like nothing can be done. So, folks, I think the last little message of this game will be notice. For all inquiries or to file a complaint with the line, please contact the ship's purser at contact@vdr.llc. Who is the ship's purser? It's me. If you email that contact email, I will answer whatever issues you may have. Cool. Let's pop out of this. Quit to desktop. Quit out of that. Probably come back to this. Wow. I guess people could probably see our most recent conversation. Hopefully it's
You
PG.
were in the reciprocating engine room, surely.
Yes. Oh yeah. I did. Oh my gosh. I went in, and did I just leave?
Did you not go down?
I don't think I did. Should
I
I go in, or should
Matt
we
and
save
Kyle
that
don't
for
think
everybody?
you did. Matt and Kyle don't think you did.
I don't think I did
Everyone
either.
was asking you asked stream which what you wanted to see. And I think everyone would love to see that.
Okay.
Maybe we have to do it.
Yeah, I'll hop in. Let me know if you can still see everything, all pretty and stuff. So explore Titanic. We will explore. Third class is closest. Yeah, sorry folks. Yeah, I remember now. I went in. I explored. I looked up at the light. You were talking and we were having a conversation. So I didn't. I came in here. I went down there to those buckets, and then I came over here, and I looked up here, and we were like, "Oh wow, look how beautiful that is! Wow, look at that."
I don't think you're in the demo.
No.
I don't see the demo on the stream. I'm slightly behind probably.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. My bad. My bad. Hold please. Boom. Okay. All right, I should be in now. Please confirm.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So I came all the way up here, and I remember looking up here and thinking, I think you were talking, so I wasn't like explaining what I was doing. I was just walking around, and then I went this way, and then I went right back out. Completely forgot to come down to these levels. So the engine room is multiple levels. There's that top level. There's this little landing here. Then you can head down this way to this sort of mezzanine of some sort, where you can see the really well the tops of these engines chugging along. You can't go across all of these, but you can go. You have to squat a little bit, but you can come on in here. See this? Looks real nice. And this, oh my gosh, the way that it goes in and out of the light is spectacular. But you can come all the way up here to this area. Take a look around here. Come around here to this side. If only someone didn't just leave these crates everywhere. You could go wherever you wanted. Oh well. You can come down this way. This one's quite nice. And then we will head down to the main level. Now on this main level, go ahead.
One thing that I'll point out is that, and it's part of the reason why this is a fairly small explorable area, is that this was never modeled to be, it was never meant to be explorable to this degree. It was actually originally just modeled to be visible from those doors, believe it or not, from
right.
at the top at Scotland Road. And but I think Kyle put a little more time into it. I mean, still, I believe he only spent maybe a week or 2 weeks on this entire space, and it's not fully accurate by any stretch of the imagination. It was done kind of as a, it's a little treat. It's an example of what's to come, and in the future these will be redone in fully accurate, or as accurate as we can make it. So
right. So it's a little taste of the engine room, even though we are aware that there's plenty missing, there's plenty out of place, but it's quite cool to just see this. And in Project 401, there will of course be this updated sound design. We will add sounds to this room to really give it the environment that it deserves, because these engines are quite impressive. Speaking of, if you are a person who has any sound design experience, or particularly with video games and working in things like Unreal Engine, reach out to us. Contact at vdr.llc, or use the actually, I'll go find that map and make sure I saw pretty much everything. Where's one of those maps? I know there's one aft by the stairs. Yeah, if you are a sound person, if you are a programmer, reach out to us. We could always use an extra hand in putting things together with this demo. Derek, I don't know if you want to talk for a second about what kind of person we'd be looking for to join our team, if you happen to know off the top of your head.
I think I'd have to look up some of the exact details, but
sure.
Just some. Well, one thing specifically is someone who is really good at locomotion for first person and also VR. It's something that I can do, but I'm trying to distribute my workload a bit. So,
right.
Basically, without revealing too much, we need a first-person character, but that it's not just a floating ghost.
Right.
So, and things, we just need the general stuff, like walking, crouching, but climbing ladders and other animations as well. So, if you've got any experience with that, reach out. We'd love to have you on the team.
Well, now I guess you've confirmed that ladders will be climbable.
Well, we're hoping.
Yeah, we're really hoping. Because there's a lot of ladders out there. There's a particular ladder that we've talked a lot about that would add a fun little shortcut.
Yes.
I'm looking through...
I see somebody in the chat, Alfie A. I'm a sound guy. Try sending a message on the website, but not sure if it worked. Sent a message on Reddit. If you could email us directly, if you haven't heard back, the form on the website should go right to that email. So
it should, but we have experienced issues from time to time. We don't know why, but sometimes an email won't come through or whatever. And honestly, I do get a lot of them also, so maybe it got lost in the shuffle. But yes, contact@vdr.llc. Reach out to us and send us any experience you may have, and we will. One of the things that we are looking for in any capacity is things that, like experience, like Derek was just describing, like experience doing this, experience doing that. But the team at THG, at VDR, at 401, we are very much sort of a self-starter group. We will not have a $90,000 salary to offer to encourage you to work. It's you really have to have a passion for this project, because we put in. I mean, last week my wife was out of town, so I had nothing to do but focus on this. I probably sat at my computer from 9 a.m. till 2 in the morning for 5 straight days just working on this, and for free. That like we're mostly volunteers, so we do need people who are excited to dive into this and help us make something really special, because that's all we can offer is the opportunity to work on something really cool, because that's what we're trying to do. So yes, that's important for me to say on
yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Before I forget, because I've been forgetting multiple times, the map that James was maybe just looking at or still looking at,
Still looking.
that map exists in full resolution with the demo files. So when you extract the demo, it is in the top level folder of that. I believe the folder is called Guide Map, and there is a PNG that is humongous, and you can use that on a second monitor or whatever to use as a guide to find your way around the ship.
Yeah, I explored absolutely everything. There are a couple. There are a few passenger cabins which I skipped, which I will leave to you all to find. But one thing I just completely missed. It's an entire level that I did not even go into, because it is I would imagine probably the smallest level that we have, maybe second smallest. So I'm gonna run over there.
Did you visit the third class saloon?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely did. But I'm going to go visit the post office, and that will be it, because that's the last thing that... and there's a cool way to get there that people may not know about. So we're in Scotland Road right now. We're running down Scotland Road, taking a right, going back past the Master at Arms cabin. Oh, there's a cabin here, too, this area.
So I do want to just briefly talk about... people might look at like the post office and... the pool and say, that seems very random. Why is it separate from first class? And the simple answer is first class is as big as it can be with reflection captures, and it would not have been possible to include these levels as part of the main level. The second reason is that, at least for the post office and baggage area, it's a different class. So it's, it's not a first class area. So it kind of made sense to split it off anyway. That's what some of the fades in the level are not actual level loads. They're just a fade to give a separation from classes. It's kind of somewhat, if you're just running around and you want to be in one class, you want to see a space.
Yeah, one thing that we've discussed that I'd really love to do in regards to that, which is something I briefly suggested when we went from the promenade to the engineers promenade, is it would be fun to give you all the opportunity to select a class restriction. So you choose the class that you want to load into, like third class, and then you can turn on class restrictions, and then you would not be able to leave third class. You would only have third class. And to again, to the average gamer, they might be like, why would you want that? It's a Titanic thing. It's people want to experience what it would have been like. So you explore third class, and if you don't know the classes very well, while I do have other things in mind on how you will know what class you're in, people might be exploring second class and go through a door and be like, "Oh, I didn't expect that would be first class. I didn't know they were right next to each other," because they are intermingled so well. And you could choose second class or first class and just explore those areas. And you would go up to a door, and it would be a crew area, and you would not be allowed to go into that crew area. An example would be you pick first class, and you turn on class restrictions, and you wouldn't be able to go into the elevator gear room, or you wouldn't be able to go into the purser's office, that sort of thing, just to give you that more authentic experience. And then, of course, you could just explore without the restrictions and go in all the spaces like I have been here. But that's sort of what Derek's talking about here, with some of these skip points being unnecessary seeming, like the engineer's promenade. Why can't you just walk into it? Because we're trying to create some separation for a storytelling sort of vibe.
Yeah, the other thing with the Engineers Promenade is that it exists on the edge of two levels.
Right.
So you just kind of a choice about which level do you put it into. And so originally it was only in one side, and then it was a full load into it. But we talked about it a bit, and I like the skip down to Scotland Road. If you can take that skip without having to go through another loading screen,
Right.
So we just made it a fade into. So from second class you can fade into the Engineers Promenade, and then there's a load on the other side, and it's the same thing. It's the opposite with the first class exterior level, where you can fade into one side and then you load at the other side. So there's that. The last thing I wanted to mention about why the pool and the mail and baggage rooms are split off is first class is by far the biggest level, and after I did my initial round of optimizations, it required just under 8 gigs of VRAM, and I really, really, really wanted to get this demo to use less than 8 gigs of VRAM. If those rooms were included, it would need more than 8 gigs of VRAM.
Right.
Which means, like right now, it uses less than 8 gigs of VRAM and 8 gigs of RAM. So a lot more people have access to play. If you needed more than 8 gigs of VRAM, you would have needed either twice as much RAM, or you needed a more expensive card that had more than 8 gigs of VRAM. So it was very important to get it under that number, and so more people could play it.
Right.
And first class, we did talk about possibly trying to split it up more. It's very difficult because there just aren't good split points. That's why, again, why the pool was chosen there, is because it's one of the few actual opportunities where you can carve something off of the main level to make it smaller, which is, if you look at it, like the grand staircase is you can't take any level off of that, because you can see, if you look down the staircase, you can see all the levels. You can look up from the bottom, see every deck, so you can't carve any of those out. Just where the levels are split is often chosen by what's actually cut off by a solid door.
Right. While Derek was talking, I went into the gymnasium, played a little bit with the speed bag there, and then I headed outside, and the screenshot was gorgeous. Whatever the screenshot for the loading screen was just beautiful. There's my favorite screenshot that I've seen. So the loading screens, while you load in, you're shown a random image from the level that you are loading into. And my favorite screenshot I've seen so far, it's only come up a couple times, is the crow's nest one from a bit away. Derek, you were the one who took them, so
Oh yes,
you know
yeah.
what I'm
This is
talking about.
sort of a zoomed in,
Yeah,
high depth of field one that's at this crow's nest. So,
I'm
um,
gonna I'm gonna go see if I can recreate it, or see if I can get it to trigger when
well,
I
I
go.
believe there's only 3 images of the crow's
Yeah, I
nest,
figured it
so
wouldn't be too many, and we already
it
saw
would
one,
be.
so the odds are in our favor. So I'll head down there, and then I have to go. We have to go because my wife just called, which means I'm taking too long. And this has been quite a long stream. We're already at 7 o'clock. So let's head to the crew quarters. There's the chain locker, beautiful. That was quick. Head in here. Nope. Where am I? Oh, I'm on the wrong side. That's why. Doop doop doop. Head through here. Come through here. Into this. Come on, let's get that screenshot. No. It's okay. We'll try one more time. You can see how this is a good example of the level loading. There it is. Look at that shot. It's so quick, but it's such a great shot. All right, I'm quitting out of this. Quit to desktop. Let's get back to my camera here. Let's go to screenshot competition, guys. A reminder that we are doing the screenshot. Sorry, had to text my wife real quick. Okay, so we're doing a screenshot competition. There are no rules this time. Last time I think we asked to just like keep the editing to a minimum. Just do whatever you want. But keep in mind we will likely choose people that choose images that have that kind of capture the essence of Titanic. So if you go crazy with it, we may not pick it. But if you take a beautiful space, minimal editing, so it looks like a little bit more cool, whatever you want to do to it, we're excited to see what you guys can do. I will check my notes. Derek, do you have any thoughts or do you have any questions in the chat? I'm going to look through, make sure I mentioned everything I wanted to mention.
No, I think I don't have anything on my end.
Great. Yep, I did that. That was a disaster because the pictures all disappeared. I'm so upset about that. I had 25 photos that I spent all morning going through all of Kyle's many Patreon updates, and I picked like 2 from each, like my favorite 2, so I could show you the progress through the months that he's been doing this, and they all disappeared. But I think everybody got the gist of it. And many of you are following us on Patreon anyway, or you follow updates, and maybe you are a patron, so you've already seen it. Okay, Project 401. It's 50% of the ship. That's wild. Yeah, I mentioned Jack, mentioned Ratha. We're on all the socials. That's happening, competition. And and we could really use some help with this project. If you have some pretty serious experience with engine stuff or sound related things, and we would love to get things going here. So let me check the chat real quick. See if
one last thing about if you're having trouble with the downloads, I just tried the main download, and I've got gigabit fiber, and it says it's going to take a day, which it's the servers are probably just being hit pretty hard right now. Just keep trying. The mirror link might work better. Just try both if one seems to be really slow. Other than that, uh, just keep trying, and it should speed up as fewer people are downloading.
We got a question from Muso Dean. Would you create gameplay by getting licenses to do Adventure Out of Time or the movie storyline, or would you recreate memories of surviving passengers to make your own story? So, certainly we would not try to recreate anything from the movie or from Adventure Out of Time. We love Adventure Out of Time, and we'd love to reference it. But first of all, to pay for something like the movie would be massive, and they probably wouldn't let us, and we wouldn't want to anyway. If you want to see the movie, you can watch the movie. We are making our own, likely more authentic Titanic experience, as amazing as the movie is. I just saw it in 3D. Amazing. But in terms of what we will be doing for our gameplay, as I mentioned earlier, I'll definitely do a stream or a pre-recorded video talking about all the features that I have planned. But there's certainly more of the latter, recreating memories of the surviving and and not surviving passengers, because there's quite a lot of documentation of things that happened to people who did not survive, either through other survivor accounts or because letters from the ship were sent off at Queenstown, and so we have some memories from them as well. So one of our features is called White Star Testimony. No real mystery what that sort of thing might involve. It will involve the testimony of those who sailed aboard Titanic. I've already collected well over 200 of my favorite my favorite testimonials from passengers and crew. The ones that I just think pack a real punch in terms of emotion, setting the scene. Tried to steer clear of some of the more famous ones that we've all heard before, but some of them could not be ignored. You got to have some of the good ones as well. So yeah, there's a lot to do for the features for Project 401, but certainly a focus on the actual Titanic story and the stories of the actual people, and not about the Adventure Out of Time or the movie, which we love both of those things, but we're not trying to do that. Getting some super chats. Eric, I'm guessing is what that says, is currently playing 2.0 and it's amazing, they said, which is great. Chris says, getting an error, DX12 is not supported.
Yeah, there's no workaround for that. It just means you don't have a graphics card that supports DX12, which means it's probably over 10 years old, and there's nothing we can. There's no way to get around it. You just have to upgrade.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately
an unfortunate. Yeah, but and apparently I need to update mine as well, which is I'll have to get on that.
Well, okay, Chris, if it's a new laptop, maybe your drivers aren't installed. It depends what laptop it is too. I don't. If it's brand new, it definitely should have it. It might be something with drivers. Try. I don't think there's prerequisites included with the demo in the engine folder, but I don't think it'll make any difference there. But you can try that too. But I can't. Yeah, I would look at your drivers. That'd be the first thing I'd suggest.
I saw question. Well, the demo 3 had the Titanic of arriving, the intro of arriving at Titanic. We will not be doing that. That exterior model is being redone, being rebuilt for THG. So for THG, for Titanic Honor and Glory, there will be the opportunity to walk around the ship as well as aboard it. But Titanic Project 401 will stay strictly on board. There was what cabin was Lawrence Beasley's? Off the top of my head, it was like D61. I forget, but it was just off of the second class dining saloon, like right outside. So Brian is as giddy as a schoolgirl. Awesome. Do you know if James Cameron has seen this project? We do know that he's aware of it, at least. He has heard of it and maybe has seen some of our work, which is always fun. It's always fun when major Titanic people see some of our work. It's hard to ignore. Our stuff is a lot of places. Let's see. It runs very well. Says
Message
Johnson.
from message from Kevin C. Holland. Will THG have a hover mode which allow the player to hover on the outside of the ship and not be grounded to only deck views? In 401, no, for sure not, because the hull is far from it's far from visually appealing. I'll say from the outside. But in THG, maybe. James was talking about the ability to peel layers off of rooms to see the steelwork behind. It's possible we'll implement something like that for THG for the exterior, like maybe you can pull hull plates off or something.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but at this point, like we're still very far away from this. So these are ideas. And it would be cool to have some way for the player to get special angles from it.
Absolutely. I'm looking at something because someone asked a question that I'd like to answer. D56 says Brian about Beasley. Let's see, Jack and Rose DLC. No, thanks. Is there a page that states the differences? I got a little confused. Yes, I tried to explain a little earlier. We just sort of redid our website. We're going to further update it in the coming weeks to make things a little bit more clear. We have a frequently asked questions page, which may answer some of your questions. We need to update some of that as well. But don't. In short, though, Project 401 is this demo that we just experienced with a bunch of new features. It's 50% of the ship in 3 times of day. You can explore this 50% at your leisure and take in all the history and amazing stories that Titanic has to offer. Titanic Honor and Glory is our flagship project, which our never-ending goal is for that project to recreate 100% or as close to 100% as humanly possible. There are, there's air ducts that no one can get into that, so as close to 100% as humanly possible. That will have much more capabilities than this does. So it won't be limited to like 3 times a day. The things can move, the lighting will be, just things will be better. So there can be things like, other features that we don't even want to say out loud at the moment, just because of where we are with things. So yeah, we have lots of plans for things to come, but that's sort of the basics, is that THG is being built in such a way that way more capabilities will be able to be brought to it, but that's a much longer timeline, while Project 401 is in terms of video game design in the home stretch. There's still plenty of work to be done, but you see how much we have. So that's but it is more limited in what it can do, hence like 3 times a day and that sort of thing.
Yeah. On that note, somebody asked about I gotta scroll up, but I can't. Oh wait, I just saw it. No, I didn't. They asked about the rough release month of Project 401, more or less. We can't give you that.
No.
We don't know ourselves. It's a while off. Like I'll say that it's almost certain. It's not going to be this year.
Sure.
There's a lot that has to happen. My focus was on the demo, and now I'm going to pivot onto Project 401, and there's a lot of things that need to be done on top of you know, Demo 401. Visually, there's some things we want to improve, but um, it won't be it certainly is not going to be a drastic change in the way that 1.4 to 2.0 was. Um, but there's a lot of programming work that I got to do, and just all the gameplay elements that are going into Project 4.1. It's all going to take time. So um, let's you know not this year.
And a lot of that will depend on if we can find some help to if you may be watching this stream at home and you may have some programming experience and some time on your hands to join a cool project, and that will greatly change how long it takes because we really are just limited by what we have available to us. Someone asked, I just saw a comment. It's running flawlessly. Can confirm the smoothness. Those are from two different people. So people are very, very happy with how nice everything works. So someone asked if I would read one of the testimonials that I talked about. I have over 200 of them. In fact, I have a fun idea. I'm trying to cap it at 200. So I have a document that is just all the rejected ones that I don't know if I will be able to find a place for them because I do want to try and keep it down. So I have a rejected list if I can find it. It's hard to do these things when you're on rejects. There we are. When you're on the clock here. So one of these that's like, they're all so good. A lot of these are inquiries. So I've read a lot. I've read all of the inquiries basically, which is stressful. And there's a lot of great books out there. On Board, RMS Titanic, George Behe. It's an unbelievable place to start a search for sure. There's just so many great quotes there. But then you read the inquiries, you read newspapers, just looking for anything and everything you can. And there's some that I even found and I couldn't even possibly dream of including. If anyone has read On a Sea of Glass and you get to the part where the ship's really going down and then the Carpathia and people, what passing ships saw floating in the water the next morning, some of it doesn't get a lot of coverage because it's so sad. And I'd like to think that in the 200 that I've chosen, there's a few that kind of push that boundary a little bit because there are so many stories that we don't hear, partially because of that reason, because it's really hard to hear. And we'd rather think of it as Jack and Rose's story, which is like super sad. But some of this stuff, when you really dive into the testimony and read what happened, it sticks with you in a weirder way. And so I don't want to include all of them because we want children to be able to play this game. And but yeah, pretty wild. So let me see if I can find a good one. Here, let's see. Okay. Okay, here's a wonderful one. This one makes me want to cry. I cry a lot when I do these things. I'm a very emotional person, and just reading some of this stuff just like really gets to you. But this is I cut this. This is from May Futrell, who is a survivor. Her husband did not. Jacques Futrell did not survive. He was a writer. I only cut this one because I have so much from her already. She's a great writer herself, in terms of how she describes things. No surprise that her husband was a writer, and she either picked things off from him or they just they became a couple because they just had a similar view of the world, but she's just a very well-spoken person, and so the things that she says are quite beautifully said. So I have so much from her already, and so I decided I should cut one. So this one's really sweet. So this is May Futrell describing as she's being lowered in the lifeboat and seeing her husband for the last time and all the other men for the last time. She says, "They knew, those brave men, as my husband knew, that there was only the slightest chance in the world for them, and that this parting of which they were making so light was probably forever." Massive thing to say. That the men that they were telling them, "We'll see you in the morning. We'll see you when you come back. Get in the lifeboat. I'll get another one. Or, there's a ship coming. They will arrive. I'll get on the next boat. Don't worry. We'll see each other soon." All the men were saying that to their wives to get them to go into the lifeboat, and the women were believing them, and she either knew as they were being lowered, I forget how she describes it, or if it was the next morning, thinking back, that these men were saying these things, and they were making this parting of which they were making so light was probably forever. And that is, oh my gosh, if I had to say goodbye to my wife for the last time and pretend like it wasn't, I would not do so well, clearly. So that's just an example. Like that's one I had to cut, and I think the world of that little quote. And so this document has just so many good quotes, lots of Beasley quotes, lots of Gracie quotes, because they wrote really incredible books and memoirs about it, and so much of what I have is from them. So I try not, you got 200 testimonials and you find that 20 of them are from Lawrence Beasley. You got to cut some so you can get some other people's perspective in there. Okay, before I cry, let's go back to still. Okay, Chris is still getting the same error. We will try and figure this out, Chris. If we do not, just contact at vdr.llc, and we'll see what we can do to figure this out. Certainly, if your laptop has DirectX 12, we should.
Yeah, and if you're on the Discord, there'd probably be people that can help you there.
Yes,
a little bit more effectively than on stream in the chat here. But yeah, if you can't figure it out, just email us and we can see what we can do.
I am actually the last person you should talk to about this. If you do message me, and if anybody messages the contact, I will reach out to people like Derek to solve problems. So it really just makes it harder. So it'll be long. So if you go on the Discord and type out your issues, we can also do it that way, and I can tag people and say, fix this. First Eldered says, hopefully some Daniel Buckley got in, and I can guarantee you I have at least one from Daniel Buckley. Let me find it. I won't read it, but I want to see it. Buckley. Yeah, Daniel Buckley. Ugh, yeah, that's a good one. There's two of them, I think. Cool. I'm really excited for you guys to see these, because one of my favorite things I've ever done as a Titanic enthusiast is prep these 200 testimonials. Because on this document that I'm looking at right now, I have their name, their class, what cabin they were in, if we know. So you can go to that cabin and see where they stayed, but also where you will find that testimony, because the testimony will be about Titanic. For example, that May Futrell quote that I just read, if it was in the game, would probably be by the lifeboat that she had this realization. So you can sort of experience it as close to her as possible. And then all of these testimonials, you will be able to, hopefully, we'll see, we gotta work on this, but flip the card over, and on the back will be the source of the quote. So if you wanted to read further into May Futrell's testimony, you can, I believe that one is like I found that one on board RMS Titanic. But this Daniel Buckley quote is from the Cork Constitution, which is a newspaper in Cork, Ireland, I assume. But give you the newspaper and the date, and you can search it yourself and read their whole testimony. So all the sources will be there, which is important to me. So I kept track of where these all came from, so you can continue your Titanic education on your own. Let's see. Any other final questions? Dean Cuthbert says this certainly is a massive achievement, guys. Well done. Thank you, Dean. We agree. It's what we have done so far with 50% of the ship looking as beautiful as it does. Again, much of that credit goes to Derek for just fixing everything and making things look so great. And then, of course, Matt and Kyle for their years of work constructing this stuff. Nico, Gio, our historic art directors, who a massive amount of the visuals begin with them. Our entire team of researchers who have been helping us immensely. The researchers are incredible for me as well, because I can message all of our researchers at once and say, hey, this testimony I found, but I found it in a very unreliable place. I can't find the source for this. And that's why I want to do the sources, because you'll, read a book and wonder, oh, where did this come from? And they'll say, here's 7 other books that you can find it in. Okay, great. Thank you. Or I'll find a photo and be like, one time I literally asked the group, and I think I've told this story before. There's a photo of Titanic, and I needed to know what day it was taken, because it was important to the thing I was working on. Was this April 10th? Was this April 11th? Was this April 9th? I know it's in Southampton, but like what? So not 11th, but was it 8, 9, 10? And the response was like April 10th, 1:35 p.m. based on the shadows. Like, amazing that they know this, And I've since found that time in a book. Maybe it was TTSM, but one of the books says specifically, this photo was taken on this day. Judging by the shadows on the picture, it must have been taken around 1:35. So just that is the level of detail that the Titanic community goes to, and I'd like to continue that and further it, by leaving you stuff to research for on your own. So like the researchers are just insane, and I love how specific they can get about requests that I have. Derpy Possum, final question: how much alcohol has the team drank to accomplish the size of this effort? I personally have ingested 0. I'm not much of a drinker. But then again, I spend most of my time reading and writing. I don't know other people on the team how they get through. I know we all have our other things that we do to keep ourselves sane, because you can't just do Titanic forever. I know Kyle's into astronomy. I know Derek, you have your business in Canada. You fix and tune organs.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have a love that is not as intense as my love of Titanic, but it's really close, because I really don't have any other interests. I have 2 interests. It's Titanic and the Beatles. So my love of the Beatles is, it's pretty encyclopedic in a way as well, where if you ask, name a Beatles song, and I can tell you everything about it. Everything I've ever heard about it, just because I retained all that from my early childhood. So we all have our things to keep us sane.
Jack said in the chat, no alcohol, but I had about 19-12 gallons of Pepsi during the trailer shooting.
Yes, Jack worked very hard on the trailer. We were very meticulous about the trailer, that initial trailer that we released. because it was so. We just wanted it to be perfect, so we really put Jack through it on that one. Let's see. Yeah, we got some Beatles fans. Yeah, my favorite Beatles. If you guys like the Beatles, I'm also a performer, and I do Beatles shows. I used to do live Beatles shows on my Instagram all the time, and when I'm on the cruise ship, I'm doing Beatles shows. So that is my other life. And my favorite Beatles song is "In My Life." Yes. You know my name, look up the number, of course. You know my name. It's one of the weirdest Beatles songs ever. But it's my interesting fact about that is that it's Paul McCartney said it's his favorite Beatles song because it just reminds him how much dumb fun they used to have. But back to Titanic. So I think we should wrap it up. Scrambled eggs from No Name. I get that reference. Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. We've talked a lot about everything that we could possibly talk about. So excited for you all to play this demo and anticipate the release of Project 401, which we're going to work just as hard as we have been working. Moving forward, we have a lot of work ahead, but it's fun to do. And THG will chug along as well, and we'll just keep making Titanic content. Can confirm one thing. No, I shouldn't confirm that, actually. It hasn't been agreed upon. It was supposed to be agreed upon today, but I forgot, and now it's 7:30, so I can't email them till Monday. Never mind. Folks, it's been great. I could sit here all day and talk and talk and talk, but we have a game to work on. So it has been a that's been on this whole time. It's been a pleasure. I have a post-stream picture to show, but I doubt it's there because all my pictures disappeared. So if you see a picture that appears after this that I worked on all morning, then it'll be a success. So Derek, any final thoughts?
No. Enjoy the demo. Take pictures. I mean, screenshots. I know that we got a competition, but even outside of the competition, we just love to see any of the cool things, and we'd like to see your feedback. Helps us make things better, and certainly there's an opportunity to improve some things for Project 401, and so yeah, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. All right, folks. On behalf of everybody at Vintage Digital Revival, currently hard at work on the VDR Titanic Empire, my name is James Penca. This has been an absolute pleasure. We will see you all soon. Hope to be doing something about our historic features coming to Project 401. Get your screenshots in. Hopefully this picture will show up, and we will see you all soon. Take care.